Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing mono black mid-range with no reserve list cards. You can build this entire deck for a few $100s, and it has some real powerful standout threats. Barragoyf, Dauthi, Orcish Bowmasters, Nethergoyf, and we've got Cecil, Dark Knight. Got a couple of these. This is from the Final Fantasy set, and we have this new card that is essentially kind of a power-crept Phyrexian arena. It's called Obsessive Pursuit. It's from the Avatar set. I'm going to read the text. It's 1 colorless, 1 black to cast, and when this enchantment enters and at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a clue token. Whenever you attack, put X +1/+1 counters on target attacking creature where X is the number of permanents you've sacrificed this turn. If X is 3 or greater, that creature gains lifelink until end of turn. You can gain lifelink on your threat, and these are permanent +1/+1 counters, by the way, pretty easily because we've got 4 baubles, we've got 9 fetches, we've got 4 wastelands, lots of things we can sack. You could also, in theory, sack a Dauthi Voidwalker and play something that your opponent has exiled. So I think that we're probably actually going to get the lifelink trigger at least once during this league, but we have other lifelink too. Barragoyf gains life, Cecil gains life, so I don't think the life loss is going to be that big of a deal. I've been looking for a replacement for Dark Confidant for years, and I think this is probably the closest we've gotten to something that's actually legacy playable. So I'm very excited to see this in action. The sideboard is May, Scornful Striker for anti-combo, Damning Sphere for anti-big mana. We've got some Disruptor Flutes to help with combo. We've got the 4-Ley Line of the Void for graveyard strategies. I've got 2 additional Fatal Pushes, so I decided to play 2 pushes and 2 Shielded Edicts. This is because it is nice to be able to Shielded Edict a Flip Tamio or a Murktide. So I wanted to diversify our removal. And then the other card that I'm very excited about is Turok Dread Cantrip, which can come in against Beans. It can come in against really any white-based control deck or aggro deck, and it's going to be pretty sweet if we stick this. Note that I've gone all the way up to 4 hymns here because we are not closing the game quickly. I took out all of our fast threats like our Stalkers. I took out Moonshadow as well, just because I wanted to play like a longer game, which may be folly, but we'll see. But I like the idea of everything just being good and us having a good mid game and a good late game, which frankly, like all out aggro decks don't have. So hopefully we'll survive to the mid game. First round has already started. Unknown opponent, but we've got a great hand. I'm going to keep this. So what we can do is we can Dark Ritual and probably just Bowmasters. I mean, I'd like to get Cecil on the table, but I don't want to forgo. We'll see what their hand is. Okay, well, we're up against Eldrazi. Unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of playing against this deck. Okay, are they going to do something disgusting turn 1? We have the Wasteland for their eye. If they do go all out, even if it's like a Thought-Knot Seer or something like that, I might waste them just to slow them from being able to do other stuff. If they have like double, hasty guy, it's really bad. Okay, wow. That is good for us. I'm just going to waste them. I'm sorry. I want to do this other stuff too, but we should waste that thing. That thing is a huge liability. It generates so much mana. They're probably just going to K-Command here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. That's crazy that they didn't have a play with all that mana. They may have like Reality Smasher or something. A Wasteland of their own. That's not going to find any purchase here. What the heck hand did they keep? This is crazy. Okay, there's the line breaker. I'm stunned they didn't play that the previous turn. They could have done so at the cost of 1 less pedal and done more damage to us. However, this is not an easy card for us to stop, but Cecil should stop it. We will take trample damage, but they're so low in resources. Or we could just freaking Dark Ritual out of Barragoyf. That puts instant in the graveyard. I mean, Barragoyf would die to this, though. It might be a while before we can get a Barragoyf out. We could just let him hit us, and then we hit him back. If they can remove our Barragoyf if they're playing Dismember or something like that, that would be bad. I think I'm just going to Dark Ritual Bowmaster. I can Bowmaster to kill him in combat, because I ping, and then I just put both blockers in front of him. I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the Barragoyf, And if he chooses to continue to attack me, my opponent, I can then figure something out. But Baragwayf is so powerful here. So you'll note I only have basic swamps in the deck as vegetables. I don't have a surveil land. We don't need a surveil land. We're a monocolored deck. But a lot of people might take issue with that. But I just don't want to have Wasteland ruin an otherwise like very smooth sailing experience. So here's this. They're almost certainly just going to attack in anyway. If they're able to clear this, it's pretty catastrophic. Like, I could play this out as a blocker, but if they make the mistake of attacking here, I just don't block, and then I attack them back and gain life. But if they have some sort of burst of mana, like another one of these IMHO, they may be able to like exile this with Kozilek's Command. Okay, they have decided to not attack. All right, Baragwayf did a good job there. So I get Baragwayf up to can attack mode now by thought seizing them, which, or I could just hymn them. That's freaking sweet that we ripped that. I think there's a good chance this is going to make Baragwayf very, very big. A Reality Smasher and a Kozilek's Command. Holy guacamole, this is 6-7. My kids are going crazy, by the way. They love that number. All right, we're coming in. That was just the best possible top deck. Like it didn't even occur to me that we could draw something that good. Yes, let's mill. Still a 6-7. We whiffed, which is surprising considering we're playing so many creatures, but it's not a big deal. Like this is already taking a tremendous amount of pressure off. Okay, they have Eye, but we got the Smasher out of their hand. That was freaking huge. If they have 4 mana potentially, they could Thought-Knot Seer us. Cecil is unfortunately never going to flip. Like, there's no way we're going to drop that low in life again. But I will take 4 here. I may take more. I'm surprised they just let that K command resolve. They could have... Well, no, actually, they couldn't have done anything there. Because they couldn't actually cast it off the pedal. They just scooped. Baragwayf, OP. Holy cow, play 4 of them in your mid-range deck. Not like... I stand by my decisions of having them in as a sideboard in other decks, but like this deck is kind of like a bigger mana deck. Like we're only playing 19 lands too, which is a reason why you don't want to have like a whole lot of non-basics that can get wasted because you're going to draw fewer lands and you want them to stick. Okay, so against this, I think Damping Sphere, damping their mana is totally viable here. I think Fatal Push comes in. What comes out? Well, I'm going to take all the Thoughtseizes out. That's almost always going to happen against aggro decks. You don't want to generally be casting that. Yeah, I think it's just Damping Sphere here. It's not fantastic. But if it can like tank 1 or 2 of their lands, like almost all their lands produce 2, and they are a big mana deck. The Eye of Ugin is particularly annoying, the land that I wasted, because it is unaffected by Damping Sphere. It's not like they're trying to storm out. Maybe I don't need both of these. But I don't know what I would put in for Disruptor Flute. Yeah, there's no way Torok's a good card here. I think it is just the other Damping Sphere. Yeah, I mean, him was just like the chef's kiss. That was the best draw. Got another him hand. I doubt unfortunately, they don't use their graveyard for anything. Goyf can be fairly big fairly quickly. Okay, so this is where we have to think. Like, Wasteland is good against them. This can be exiled very easily. It is a big card, but it's 3 mana, and they've exiled it and cantripped with Kozilek's Command. I do want a Dark Ritual hand. I want to do something explosive. I want a Baragwayf. I think I'm going to mulligan this. Obsessive Pursuit. This is basically the same hand we had before, but it has Obsessive Pursuit. I don't really even like Obsessive Pursuit here. If I'd been able to sideboard it out and had more stuff to bring in, I probably would have. We could mulligan one more time. I think I'll just keep this. I really don't like Douthie. It can't block. I think I'm going to mulligan one more time. This is a really bad matchup for us, by the way. Okay. This is Dark Ritual, Hymn to Torok, Douthie. With Douthie, Hymn to Torok, maybe we can cast one of their noodle monsters. Let's do that. So I'm putting back Damping Sphere, which is a sideboard card, but like, gosh, if they have like a turn 1 thing that does something to us, like this hymn is going to have to do a lot here. I think we're almost certainly going to lose this game. We've already mulliganed twice. But why not shoot for the skylights, right? I don't know what the expression is. Shoot for the stars. At worst, you'll hit the moon. Or I think it's shoot for the moon. At worst, you'll hit the stars. 5,000 years later, 20,000 years later, at the speeds that they were talking about back then, maybe hundreds of thousands of years later, you'd hit a star. You could just travel probably indefinitely because space is so vast. So if you're like, what are you on about? Sorry, I think it's like an Oscar Wilde quote or something like that. Yeah, I think Damping Sphere comes out, and I'm going to take out this land. I'll leave. I'm not taking out a fetch land. So please be gentle, opponent. That was a really, really rough mulligan. Okay. What is this? It that heralds the end. Okay, it's certainly heralding the end of this game. I would love to draw just like a 1-drop because I'll have 1 excess mana. Come on, 1-drop. Well, I'm not going to complain about a land. So I'm going to go ahead and Dark Ritual. Douthie. Him. Let's get some good stuff, please. Well, those are freaking insane cards that would have been terrifying. I'm not going to be using them. They're not synergistic with my deck, but I'm happy that they're out of their hand. See, like this buffs the spawn tokens, so they get like this incredible wide army. I just have to hope that their hand is dirtily. They attack for 2. No plays. I love it. All right. That's actually pretty good. Let's do this before we attack. I'm actually very happy that I'm playing so many hymns. Normally I just play 3 because the conventional wisdom is once you've hymned somebody, like you probably don't need to hymn them again. They probably don't have much of a hand left. But in this case, because we're doing it so early, a Reality Smasher. I would like a Reality Smasher. It is haste. Let's cast it. Let's hit you in the face for 5 instead of 3. That's pretty good. And this will be a little bit harder for them to get rid of. And they've got an Ancient Tomb. I did not expect to win this game. But I think we might actually be on our way to winning. They could double block if they have a big meanie. A Reality Smasher of their own. Would that be their last card in hand? Red mana. Oh no, are they going to take it? They're going to... No, they don't have double red. They can't take it. Yeah, Reality Smasher of their own. It's a 6-6 because of this. Oh my goodness. I'm going to lose this race. I was like so happy that I thought I was going to win. I'll take 7. What can I draw here? I can't draw a Baragorth because I don't have the mana. Bowmasters would allow me to chump a little. Oh, that's good, but do I hold back? Let's see. I'm taking 8. I'll be at 1. Then if I draw a fetch, I won't be able to deploy my Berry. And Barry's not actually that huge, but he does have Death Touch. So if they make the mistake of attacking with this, I can just block it. I can't kill this. If we attack, they drop to 8. So they would still survive even if they tap this. That's the real thing I was thinking about. Okay. I think I wait 1 turn cycle because I need to be able to cast Berry. Man, I didn't expect that to be their last card. They had a pretty stacked hand, frankly, with two Flesh Rakers and this. 2 of these. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're not quite to... Oh, actually, they have to tap this too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're pretty close to being on the search, but not quite there. So let's take the Reality Smasher, and they're not going to attack with it that heralds the end. Okay, so if we draw a mana source of any kind, we'll be okay. And then next turn, I'll have to chump this and drop to 1. Or drop to 2. Oh, that's not terrible. So I can double block now. Yeah, I think that's what I do. I just double block. And we're still on the defensive. But if Barry gets loose, we'll be fine. I'm happy with all the decisions I made this game. It's just that I didn't expect them to have 2 Reality Smashers. Also, if they had the city, I think they would be able to start activating this. And who knows what kind of scary things this pulls out of the deck. They could have that Sire of 7 Deaths. Also, because I have so many card types, it's possible that I can escape this if I get another mana too. So I've got plenty of grind left in me if they don't just kill me outright. But like a K command would just be the end of the game. They would create so many spawns. There's no way I'd be able to keep up with them. They'd be able to remove my Nethergoyf. And K came in. Is what they draw. Okay. Are they targeting my Kozilek's command? Or they're targeting... Oh, so it get countered. Completely countered by Reality Smasher's ability. Know how your own cards work. Reading the card explains the card. Like, they just exile this and I die, but instead they punted, like, in a way that I would be incredibly embarrassed to have done. But it's cool. And now I think we're going to win because that was like a massive punt. Like, they could have created so many spawns or drawn cards or... Yeah, like that was the card. That was their lifeline there. Now we draw a land and Barry comes out and we'll be fine. Okay, well, we'll just be fine with this Dark Ritual here. All right, so I can't attack yet, but my board presence is improving. Yeah, I don't want to attack. I don't have good attacks. I just have to wait until one of these gets bigger. Can it get bigger? Yeah, I could draw an artifact. I could get an enchantment out. Yeah, again, my opponent said this is the first time they're playing this deck. And so that would explain why they didn't understand that Reality Smasher's ability would prevent this from working. I was about to concede the game, but then I saw the Reality Smasher trigger on this deck. I was like, oh, they didn't exile my Nethergoyf. So if they send in, I'm not going to be blocking with Barragoyf. Barragoyf is how I stay in the game. I want them to get impatient, and they do. So they could have another K command, which would be devastating. But what I need to do is I need to double block this. So this way it dies, and assuming they don't have like another K command, which they absolutely could have, then I can send in. What they could do is if they have the K command, they can exile this. They have Dismember. Okay. That works. They paid a ton of life for that. I'm going to be able to attack with Barragoyf, gain some life back. This will die in combat. So Barragoyf gains life and takes them down if they block. If they don't block, they're attacking for a lot, but I'll still survive slightly unless they have a threat. This is rough because I want to be able to bring him back. I'm going to attack and see if they make the mistake of not blocking, and then I can bring another Nethergoyf back. If they don't block for some reason, is there any way that I can die from this? I can, but they don't know that I'm going to bring the Nethergoyf back. So if they let this through, they're still at 2. Okay, they're not going to let it through. Okay, so now I can play this. I have to fetch down to 6. And I have to exile an instant, a creature, a sorcery, and a land. But there will be another land in the graveyard. So I think that's fine. Even if they K-command this, they're only hitting me for 5, so I'll be at 1. Okay, so Nethergoyf is incredible card. The ability is so relevant. We're taking out Douthie here. Dark Ritual. And a Hymn. So this does reduce... Oh no! Is that going to kill this? No, it's not going to kill it. Okay, it's still a 5/6. That's still very reasonable because they have stuff in the graveyard. Okay. I would have been very disappointed if I'd accidentally killed my Barragoyf there. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't even close to killing Barragoyf, as we can see here. Now they're but that was a brick. So I think they're dead now. They can attack, but they'll die very quickly if they attack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're very close to activating this, but they will do 2 damage and put them to dead. So I'll just attack with Barry here. Very close game. But again, it wouldn't have been close. We would have absolutely lost this game if they hadn't punted. All right, I'll take this damage. It doesn't matter because I can swing back and kill them. Everything's on the table. There's no way they can buff this. Yeah, the game's over. All right, good games. All right, round 2, we're up against a likely Storm player on the play. Tragic, no lander. Yeah, this would have been a big turn. All right, let's mulligan it. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, if they're on Storm, I think it might actually be correct to just Dark right here. I'm going to go ahead and put back the Shielder's Edict. If they're on like a fair deck, I'll feel like a fool. But if they're on Storm, well, I'll check what they're on first. If I see Storm cards, I'm hemming them. Yeah, that's a Storm card. Wish Claw Talisman. So really our best shot is just knocking some critical card out of their hand. It sucks to 2 for 2 them, but we got LED and Chrome Mox. Hopefully LED was a key card there. Yeah, so they're on Ad Nauseum Tendrils. Draw trigger. Okay, Bowmaster is not terrible here. It's actually a reasonable threat because they are going to be cantripping probably to a similar right hand. And that bauble information was absolutely invaluable. There's only one deck that Wishclaw Talisman is in Legacy. Douthie is probably actually better than Bowmaster here because it locks out like the graveyard baselines. And it has slightly higher damage output. Main deck hate card. The graveyard has mattered less and less since the banning of Entomb, but it is still a pretty good card. I mean, like, obviously we got a free Reality Smasher last game, which was just incredible. I think that's one of the best. The best Douthie I've ever had was when I got my opponent to discard Emrakul, and then I think I screwed up the timing and I wasn't able to successfully cast the card because I thought I didn't realize timing restrictions applied, so I was doing it during my combat or something. Okay, Wishclaw's Talisman. Then we knew about this. So this goes and gets whatever card it is they're going to use to win. I will play this out, but I don't necessarily want to fetch here, and the reason is, they could have exactly enough storm to kill us. If we fetch, then that reduces the amount of storm we need. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attack with Douthie first, and then I'll just pass, and I can. But I do contribute to the storm. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. All right, solve this problem. Here is the problem you're facing. I don't want to contribute to your storm. You can't draw cards. You have 15 life. Ad Nauseum is probably going to kill you. You can't use your graveyard. And you need to get Storm 9 to kill me. And you have 3 turns to figure it out. Another Wishclaw. Okay, that's fine. All right. Again, I'm not going to fetch the Thin, which is something I normally do just because I'm respecting the life total. It might come up. So here, I think a second Bowmaster is probably better than a second Douthie. I'll do it before combat. This just puts additional pressure on their life total, which again, if they're using Ad Nauseum, they will probably need to use. They can get Veil, which is probably in their deck to stop the Bowmaster effect. But I'll just ping myself, or I'll ping my own army. So they'll still have this giant thing that they'll have to deal with. And I believe they're dead on board. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're not dead on board. And had I played that Douthie instead of this, they would be dead on board. Would they? Actually, I don't think they would. Because this dealt the damage and it buffed this. Yeah, so I think I played correctly. All right, so we're getting Wishclaw. We can search our deck for anything we want at sorcery speed. We can't do it right now, unfortunately. Let's see what they get. We've done everything we can to stop them. They do have the LED. It's not showing the storm count, which is frustrating. They had more LEDs. Okay, they had a very LED heavy hand. Or they may have gone to get an LED. This deck, by the way, is extremely difficult to pilot. Is underpowered by 2026 standards. Do they have enough storm here? I don't think they do. Ad Nauseum. Okay. I don't think they're going to be able to do this. But we'll see. Urza Saga. That's a land drop. They're at 2 now. They revealed Tendrils. Okay. They revealed Wishclaw. They died. Okay. So pressuring their life total was absolutely the correct move here. Again, I want to emphasize their task is not an enviable one. This is if you're going to get paired against Storm as a fair deck, this is the kind of one you want to get paired against because it cares about life total. So all of our I'm not going to bring in Leyline. May, as she's pronounced in the West for some reason. She is going to potentially make their life extremely uncomfortable. Cards that come out. Fatal Push and Shield Rosita can come out. We need to cut 4 more cards. I don't like to cut Wasteland because if the game gets grindy, that is pretty good. But and also we are a high mana deck. This is not the low mana value deck that I've been playing recently. Cecil does pretty fast damage output. I don't really want to cut him. Obsessive Pursuit, I think, is pretty mediocre here, frankly. We don't want to be using our life total That way the game's not going to last that long. If the game lasts long, it's because we're about to win. We just need to make one cut here. I like Baraglyph a lot, Netherglyph a lot, because Baraglyph is less good. Because, like, who cares that we gain life? It's nice and all, but, like, Netherglyph comes down so much faster. And yeah. So I think it is a Baraglyph that we could trip. We still have 19 lands in the deck. We did up our land count a little bit with May. Let's do it. So a hand I would like would be something in the Dark Ritual May. Like, pretty much all the hands I would like to have involve Dark Ritual. And sure enough, freaking Dark Ritual, hell yeah, this hand it doesn't disrupt at all, but we can do a lot of damage. So what I would do is I would probably Dark Ritual, Douthie, Cecil. I'd probably actually lead with Netherglyph. It's only going to be a 1-2, but it'll almost certainly grow. I don't think we throw away a Dark Ritual hand. If they turn one us, they turn one us. But their deck usually takes a few turns to set up. The reason I don't like Cecil is he gets us lower in life, which gives them like the ability to mini Tendrils us and still win. And by mini, I mean like anything less than like Storm 9, Storm 8. And his lifelink ability is probably not going to be relevant. The indestructibility is not relevant. I think this hand has a little bit of disruption, but it's got a clock. I'm just not sure about it, frankly. And we're on the draw. We may need to hit like an actual sideboard card here. I'm going to try to hit a sideboard card. Because the other thing is we won't necessarily be able to deploy anything here. This is so much better. Holy guacamole, this is the hand. This is the hand. Okay, so we're going to keep... I'm going to put back Netherglyph. Because I'm going to Thoughtseize, Damping Sphere... Thoughtseize, Damping Sphere, for sure off the Dark Rit. I could put back Douthie. If they Thoughtseize, they're going to take the Dark Rit, so I can't put back a land. No, they'll probably Thoughtseize. It's possible they have some insane card that we can Thoughtseize out of their hand into Douthie, but Douthie's not how I'm going to lead. I'm going to lead with Damping Sphere 100%. This card is way better against Storm. So I'll keep this. I mean, Netherglyph is like, even if we just Dark Ritual out, Damping Sphere is probably good enough. And then we just follow up with Douthie. Yeah. So if they disrupt our hand, like there's no way I'm not Thoughtseizing them turn one, if that makes sense. And they may have Veil. They likely have Veil as their protection. I mean, we're a mono black deck with this card. Okay. Wow. Big if this is like the best they can do here. Oh, I think we give them one turn with it because I will waste it. I want to get this Damping Sphere out. So we waste it, then they don't get their LED. Having two Dark Rituals in both hands, like I know we mulliganed. It's just insane luck. Absolutely insane luck. Let's do this first. Okay. So they have Abrupt Decay, which we want to take. The rest of their hand is functionally terrible because they're not going to be able to storm worth a damn. Yeah, I just take the Abrupt Decay here. Then I stick my Hate Piece. And their hand is a bunch of stuff that doesn't really do anything. Like Petal is free technically, but then they can't cast anything after that. So they're probably not going to be able to use the Urza Saga. This is just like, we shouldn't be winning this matchup, but I think we're going to win this matchup. Sure. And they'll see the Wasteland and weep. So I think they're on Mono Black Saga Storm? Yeah, they had to pay mana for that. Isn't that sick? So this is going to disappear. I'm actually thinking about just hitting Vault. Let's see what we draw. But I do want to waste them this turn cycle. These stack. I do think we waste. They've used the Duras. How would they ever get through this? Like double of these. Because they're trying to win through Storm. They would have to have Force of Vigor or something like that. Which I don't think their deck has enough green to support. But if they do draw a second Abrupt Decay, it's very awkward for us. They get an LED, but that involves discarding their entire hand. So let's see. We waste here. They float a mana. Then they could Infernal Tutor, crack LED. They have 3 mana, but what are they going to do with it? Because everything's going to cost more. Dark Ritual does still yield a mana. So they Dark Ritual, and then they get 3 mana. And then the second one, they have to pay an extra mana. But it still yields a mana. But then this costs a fortune. So they could get Hellbent. I don't want them to create a construct. But that construct is going to be tiny. I think I'm going to go for their black source. I'm just trying to think of what they could get off this other than LED. I think LED is the only thing that makes sense. All right. And I'm thinking a whole lot about every single move because this game is going to be short and every single move matters. Next turn, we jam the second Damping Sphere. This goes away. They get an LED. They can float. They can use LED with Infernal Tutor to search. They are going to cast the Dark Ritual. Are they going to use this ability? I think it's fine if they want to do that. But yeah, they're going to create. So this will be a 2/2, which is not nothing. It can do damage and then they can kill us with Tendrils. I probably will play out the Douthie just so I can race a little bit instead of playing out the Damping Sphere here since they're not going to have any mana. But like it's quite possible that this is just the last, like the final boss of the game. Basically, they're not going to be able to present much beyond this. They still have a Dark Ritual in hand. They might be able to do something here. They didn't get an LED. Okay, and they're just burning out the mana. All right, I think we can beat a 2/2 creature. We don't have any removal on our deck, but like so many of our creatures can deal with this. Okay, so I am going to fetch down and put out the Douthie. That way at least we can start hitting them back when they hit us. All right, and we have shut off their graveyard, which probably doesn't matter at this point because like if they Gaia's Will, they have lots of stuff they can cast from the graveyard. But they're going to attack us, then we attack them. If they have Petal or something like that, the main issue is they have no mana. Like they can't even use this Dark Ritual because like LED necessitates you discarding your hand. So I am pretty happy with my decision to waste there. I'd rather them have an LED than a Vault of Whisperers. Okay. That does grow this. So they're winning the race technically. So if we brick like for, I don't know, like 5 turns in a row, like just draw random, hate pieces and stuff that don't interact, then we could lose. But I mean, we'll still get a game 3 and we'll be on the play. Okay. We are bricking, unfortunately. I'll play this out. I'm going to go ahead and Damping Sphere. And because like, even if they drew like, I don't think it's in their deck, but if they drew like Echo of Eons or something, they wouldn't be able to use it because it would be put into exile. So I'm not going to fetch it then. I'm going to treat every life. Okay, so they have a mana source now. They can't cast anything else this turn. Once they cast Infernal Tutor, they'll be able to... Okay, so this is 4/4. Okay, we're on a 3-turn clock here. This is serious. Also, if you hear my son playing piano, that's an original composition. He... oh my goodness, we are breaking like crazy, aren't we? Well, I'm going to go ahead and play it out. And there's no blocking here. We don't have anything in exile, so I'm just going to attack, and I'm going to hope that they don't continue to draw artifacts here. Yeah, so my opponent, my son enjoys playing piano, and we were at a kind of a lunch yesterday. My son was there, and a bunch of people in the Chinese-speaking community here in Plano. I've been studying Chinese for like 22 years at this point. I'm an old guy. So I took him there, and my son, of course, is also studying Mandarin and Cantonese. And okay, that's good. That's probably the game right there. Let's see. 3 card types. It's not quite big enough to survive, but I can just put this in the graveyard and then it's big enough. So I'll play it. And then when they attack, if they attack, I can just activate this. And then it's big enough. Like, let's see. Do I have to sacrifice? Choose an exiled card. Okay, there's no exiled card. So maybe I can't do this. It doesn't say choose up to 1. I might not be able to do this without an exiled card. What do I do? Oh no. They may be able to Tendrils me from here. Because I'm going to have to take this crack. I can't double block. There's no surveil at the end of the deck, so I'm not going to be able to surveil. Not that I would want to go down to effectively 0 life. I don't think they'll ever be able to remove this. I don't think they're playing removal. If for some reason a card goes into exile, I can do it, but I'm pretty sure I can't just activate this. Let me try real quick. Okay. Oh, so the ability does go on the stack, but it's not going to let me undo it. So I learned the lesson, but there's no card in exile that I can target. But this way I know, like, okay, I know that this is going to work. I didn't want to get in a situation where I was trying to block and then do it. So they have an artifact, they win. Any artifact other than Mox Opal. My opponent's probably like, why? Unfortunately, this opens me up to all kinds of abuse that their graveyard can lay upon me. But I didn't want to, because like obviously I wanted to make sure that was how it worked. And of course, I could have gone and just consulted the rules. But MTGO is extremely reliable. They've done an excellent job of implementing the rules where, it's extremely rare that anything like counterintuitive happens and then I look the rule and find out that it was wrong. Like that would get reported and that would get fixed because they do a good job of maintaining this 20 plus year old piece of software that is janky, but very good at what it does. Yep. So this does not help them. Do they have a way to get through? Anyway, I was going to finish my story while my opponent's deciding whether they can attack. Spoiler alert, they can't. So I took my son to this party and we went to eat some ramen afterward with everybody at like this Japanese ramen shop. Nothing to write home about, but it's not nearly as good as the ramen in Japan. But we're in Plano, Texas, right? Which is, by the way, a part of Dallas. It's just a nice suburb of Dallas. So, oh wow, that's a great draw. Anyway, my son, and I'm just going to brag about him because I'm very proud of him. He's been studying piano, and I think I can attack here. Yeah, I'm going to attack. That was a great rip. My son has been playing piano, and it's possible that they have something that removes this or invalidates this. I'll deal with it. But my son was eating with me, and he's only 8 years old, so he's like getting under the table and like doing silly things with his drink and stuff. Oh, that's bad. But they do have to chump here when I attack, and they won't be able to attack back. So I think we've got them anyway, just with these, because they'll have to chump repeatedly. Unless they find another artifact. And Dua Lipa's Levitating comes on, and I was like, oh yeah, I love the bass line of this song. And oh, this is actually pretty good. So we'll take damage when he does damage, but I think that's probably okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'll attack with both and see if they have like some sort of combat trick they're going to do, and then I can deploy my Cecil. Sorry to end this story. This is taking like 3 turns to explain. But I was like, oh, Dua Lipa Levitating. Like, I'm not a huge Dua Lipa fan or anything like that. I don't even listen to that much pop music, but it's got a great bass line. And so I was like, oh yeah, I love playing the bass line of this on my bass. And they're like, oh, you're into music? And they're like, yeah, my son is too. He does piano. And then they're like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, well, why not, brag about how he has perfect pitch? Because a lot of people out there think perfect pitch is something you're born with, but you can absolutely acquire it with proper training. Certainly if you're a kid. I imagine adults could probably do it too. There's a whole bunch of misinformation around perfect pitch. Only like 1 out of 10,000 people have it, is the statistic I've read. But I think it could be dramatically more. And the reason I think it could be dramatically more is both of my kids have it, and neither my wife nor I have it. So I don't think it's like some genetic thing. That was a win. But I'll just finish the story real quick before we get around 3. We're 2-0. But anyway, like, people are like, oh, we use perfect pitch? I was like, yeah. And I said, Quentin, what's that chord? My son's name is Quentin. And he's like, and then he got it. Like, and I was like, what key is this song in? And he's like, oh, it's in B minor. And I was like, okay, like Siri, what key is Levitating by Dua Lipa? And it was B minor. And then it turns out like one of the ladies at the table was like also like a big piano player, and she had perfect pitch. And so we didn't know the name of the next song that came on, but it was my son immediately recognized it from the K-pop Demon Hunters movie. And then it was weird to pin down the pitch, so he wasn't sure, but he's like, I think it's an E. And then the lady was like, yep, it's an E. So that was a cool party trick. If your kids want to have perfect pitch and get it involved in music, and you have the resources to get like a piano teacher, I think it's been really positive. So that is my little endorsement for piano lessons for your kid. If they're not like completely resistant to it. If they just have zero interest, then don't force them to do it. That'll make them miserable. But if they're even remotely interested in like, K-pop Demon Hunters or anything like that that's focused on music, if they're interested in like old Van Halen records like I am, tell them to check out piano and learn and try to achieve perfect pitch. It can absolutely be attained. Round 3, we're 2-0. We're up against a likely mono blue paradigm shift deck that wins off Thassa's Oracle after they exile their entire deck. This is not a good matchup for us because they can essentially negate all our damage that we do. And also this hand is not keepable. I don't keep hands. Like, you could speculatively keep it, but for the content, I never keep no-landers. And I consider this to functionally be a no-lander because it's just miserable. Like, okay, this is so much better. I'm so glad I kept this hand instead. So what we'll do is we'll put back Baragoyf. He's a ways away, and we're just not going to have any early threats, but we're going to disrupt like none other. So Thoughtseize turn 1. Well, first let's check their top. Actually, I'll check my top. I'm going to check my top, and then I can decide whether to lead with the Catacombs. Because I do want to draw something to close the game. And they've been... Okay, so I don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch. This is great. Like, this card is so good. It's incredible that there's a 0-drop card that does that. Now we can Thoughtseize them, and we'll draw something hopefully other than a swamp since we fetched. Okay, and they have the Thassa's Oracle, which is how they win. So I think we just take Thassa's Oracle, and then they have to dig for another Thassa's Oracle. Yeah. They may be able to like search for Thassa's Oracle if they have that step through card that Wizard cycles, but I'll deal with that later. We get a card. So another swamp, unfortunately. It's the most likely thing we're going to draw. We have 6 swamps. Our opponent has a pretty slow start. They did not have any disruption whatsoever. Okay, we drew a Baragoyf, which is how we'll close the game. But first, I am going to go ahead and just be mana efficient. And him, I could draw like a Bowmaster or something next turn and deploy that instead. We got an Impulse and an Island. So their hand is currently Impulse, Ancient Tomb, Island, 1 unknown. We'll pass. And next turn we can Thoughtseize them again if they still have Impulse. We'll know what they have because they're going to have to... No, wait, they don't have to reveal with Impulse, right? It's any card. So this is better than like the Otter type thing. Okay, and they could just grab a land here and blank my Thoughtseize. I think I am going to Thoughtseize Nethergoyf. Nethergoyf's practically as big as Baragoyf, and I just want to continue to pressure their hand and disrupt. I guess continue to disrupt is what I mean to say. Okay, Days Undoing is scary because it gives them a full, fresh grip. I can't stop them from doing that. But I'll just take this Impulse. Unfortunately, Days Undoing also... If I take the... Yeah, they're almost certainly just going to Days Undoing next turn. But it's hard to know that Baragoyf and Nethergoyf alike would be negatively impacted by this. I'm trying to think if there's any rationale for taking Impulse. They're almost certainly just going to get a new hand next turn. It doesn't really matter. The Days Undoing will get shuffled back in. I'll just do that. And then I'll play a 0-1. It's going to attack for 0 next turn. But we will get a new hand. So all of our, like we slowed them down a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter ultimately. Okay, they're a second main phase hipster. What? Why not play the Ancient Tomb? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Unfortunately, these triggers do not go on the stack, but this is superior, vastly superior to just putting out a Baragoyf that's going to become a 0-1. So I will attack first. Then I do think I want to Bowmaster here because they likely don't have a Force of Will. And if they draw a Force of Will, suddenly their hand's way better. Yeah, I'm going to do this. And again, the turn ends with the Bowmaster triggers on the stack, so you don't actually get the benefit of it. But yeah, if they want to give us a full new hand, they can. They may be scared of giving us a full new hand because they have to pass the turn and they'll be low in life. Chalice on 1, that's not a big deal. I've got a pretty varied threat suite here that doesn't really care that much about Chalice. I still don't understand why they didn't play out the Tomb. Hemming them. I mean, we could get lucky and hit both the Days Undoing or the Ancient Tomb. I like that better than Baragoyf here. Baragoyf ends the game faster. If we play out Baragoyf, it really forces the issue with the Days Undoing. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. because my main concern is just like they may be trying to build up to a mana position where they can just win in one turn, like the same. Well, they can't win the same turn the Days Undoing, or they may be trying to wait for like a Narset or something like that. But now we're going to be able to pressure Narset so hard. But we're not really going to be able to pressure Narset hard, unfortunately. Yeah, they're forcing this. This is fine. Yeah. So that is another type for the graveyard. So we're hitting for 6. Next turn, I'll definitely hymn them because I'm not going to draw a 1-drop and a hymn. And they're down to 2 cards. Like, they pitched probably one of the Days Undoings. So, in retrospect, it was absolutely correct for me to take that impulse. Okay. So we're going to hymn them. They have 2 cards. They're going to need to force it. I think we won this game. I can't play this out. It doesn't hurt to do so, but now they know that I've got nothing coming, so maybe I should have waited. I'm trying to think of what they could even draw here to get them out of this mess. Hull Breacher, sure. Okay, so they can Days Undoing, but they don't have Days Undoing anymore. Right, there's 0 cards. So Hull Breacher is just a blocker. I'll just come in with Nethergoyf twice, and then they'll have to sack it. Also, like, it's going to be harder for them to tap this. Like, they basically need to rip a Days Undoing here. So then, yeah, that's fine. Okay, now they still have... I don't know what out they have. They're probably just drawing, like, some random, like, Force of Will or something. What is it? Stock Up? Sure. I don't know what 1-drop... They do have a land drop to give, so they could play, like... Yeah, I don't know what they would find. Murktide? Thassa's Oracle, just as a blocker. That's fine. This is a cool deck, but it plays Thought Lash, I think, which is on the reserve list, so you probably won't see me play it. Like, if I want to play a deck that is this kind of like in the weeds, I don't have infinite play points. MTGO does give me some to experiment with, but yeah. I guess I'll just make my Nethergoyf bigger here. See what they're drawing. They're drawing another Stock Up. Okay, let's go ahead and come across. It's a force block here. It's not a force block. If I attack with all these, they had to block the Nethergoyf, so I get 2 damage. Yeah, I attack all, and then it's a force block. And this reduces the amount of times they can tap the Ancient Tomb here. Yeah. Right, so we can fetch the Thin here. I don't think it'll hurt. I'll just do that in the end step. We get a card. Okay, Wasteland doesn't do anything here. They can stock up, but then they don't have anything to do because they'll tap down to 1 and then they'll be very dead. This is a cool deck though. Like, I like what my opponent's doing over there. I don't know what they could possibly find. Okay, so this is going to be a trickier deck to hate out than the Storm deck, which, you know, we had just Damping Sphere, which was just total hammer against them. I think May comes in. Torok Drake Cantor doesn't really do a lot, unfortunately. I don't think Fatal Push is where we want to be. We have to turn on Revolt. Also, it gets stopped by Chalice, but we could bring in the Shielders. We already have the Shielders Edicts in. That's how I configured it. If they turn 1 Chalice, it's pretty bad. How bad is it? So Cecil, Urkrit, Nethergoyf, Thoughtseize. This may not be a Cecil matchup. Like, he is the weakest card in the deck, frankly. Like, I was not sure what to include, but I didn't want to have too many Dark Ritual hands where I was just Dark Ritualing for 2 mana and I didn't have like a third thing to do. I do like Shielders Edict just because it can kill Narset or Hull Breacher and it dodges. So it looks like what they did was they took the Paradigm Shift plus Oracle combo and they jammed it into also a Narset Hull Breacher combo deck, which makes sense. It's 2 kind of AB combo decks. The art for Shielders Edict is completely just bonkers, like off the wall, insane. It's Magic the Gathering art at its finest. I'm not exactly sure what's happening here, but it looks like this dude is slaying it and then looking up to Shieldred for approval. It's pretty freaking sick. And Shieldred, like, just one of the most crazy designed Magic monsters of all time, in my opinion. Obsessive Pursuit does help us dig. It might be worth keeping in. But we're going to be doing damage to ourselves with May. Are there any other changes? We just need to cut 1 card. I think I will just cut a Cecil. I mean, Disruptor Flute actually is pretty good. I think I do want to bring that in because we can name the Thought Lash. So I'm bringing this in. Douthie doesn't do any... Well, yeah, I don't think Douthie actually does anything. He's just a beater. Maybe I cut this and I keep a couple Douthies in. I need to make a decision. I've got 19 seconds. Oh, the Wasteland probably doesn't do much here. I'll just cut that. I should have cut Barragoyf. That was a punt. I think Barragoyf was the cut. Yeah, so I'll tighten up my sideboard for game 3 if there's a game 3. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to put back the Thoughtseize hand. This doesn't have a ton of mana, but we're likely to draw another mana for him. I think we need Thoughtseize desperately. Hopefully they don't lead on Chalice, but it only shuts off Thoughtseize in this hand. Petal. I mean, Chalice just doesn't do that much against our deck. It stops a few cards. All right, so I am necessarily going to be using this. So I will get some information about their hand before I use it, or what they're going to draw, their future hand. Okay, they're drawing Chalice, so I am going to just do my Thoughtseize now. And if we don't find land, we don't find land, and we probably just languish. But I have got my 1 drop out under the Thoughtseize here. This is a good hand. Okay, so they... Hull Breacher comes down next turn uncounterably. It doesn't really affect me, but if they can... Hull Breacher's less scary than Narset is, but Stock Up is probably the most powerful card because it digs them for the other part of the combo. Yeah, I think it's Stock Up here. I don't generally take Force of Will as a rule just because they're going to 2-for-1 themselves when they stop one of my threats, and a lot of my hand is like functionally similar. Also, Shield can stop either side of this, so I think I'll just... Yeah, whatever they lead with, I can just deal with it. But they're going to have a second one. So best draw would just be a Swamp so I can him them. Okay, Shield Rosetics. So I've got 2 Shield Rosetics now. So I can take out both of their A's, and then we just have to hope to dodge a B. So here's Chalice. Oh, Narset. Yeah, that's good. And if I can find a Swamp, I can pressure Narset. If I'd kept the Wasteland in, which it was absolutely a punt to take the Wasteland out. Oh, they found it. So we're probably going to lose this hand and lose the game. They have a force, unfortunately, so they can just force the Shield Edict. And there's no consequence because they're going to get a whole new hand. So I need to him them here. But it doesn't matter. They're going to get a whole new hand if they find a land. If they don't find a land, they don't get a new hand. I think it's correct to go ahead and him first. I could just try to get on the board with Bowmaster. I think regardless of what I do, it's going to get forced. But there's a world in which they don't find a land, and him does 2-for-1 them. They may let this resolve. I can't imagine a world in which they let it resolved. Okay, they force. Okay, so if they find a land here, the game is over. If they don't find a land here, we still got some game to play. They do find a land. Okay, the game is over. We're going to just get Days Undoing, Hull Breacher. I'm just going to concede. Like, I know people might be like, well, wait and see what they do. No, we know what they're going to do. They found another Narset too. Okay, so here, I'm going to bring the Wasteland back in, especially seeing Caverns, which I don't think I saw the previous game. I'm going to take out Cecil completely. Oh, I already did. Barragoyf comes out. It's just not good enough. It's like too much mana. I don't think Damping Sphere is where we want to be. Deathly may be better because at least he hits for 3 and comes in earlier. I mean, Torok potentially hitting 2 cards in their hand, even though the pro white doesn't matter, might be good. I think Douthie's better because it can reliably attack Narset if they do Narset early. I don't imagine Damping Sphere playing a role at all. They're really just trying to resolve one big spell each turn, whether that's Stock Up or Narset or Hull Breacher or Days Undoing. And on that note, May is not spectacular here, but she is a 2-drop, so she dodges Chalice. I do want to disrupt. I think maybe Turok in 1 berry. Like, there's a world in which we draw like a late game Turok and we're able to kick it, and it does a lot. All right, let's see what we can do here. Leave a comment with the timestamp if you've ever played the deck that my opponent's playing, and if you're like, oh, you should have brought in this because it does XYZ. This is a mulligan. This just doesn't do enough. This is a much better hand. So I'll start with Thoughtseize and then I'll May, and we'll just risk them having Chalice. But like in my mind, you always start with Thoughtseize here. We could put back the land. And then next turn, we have May. And the following turn, we have double another Goyf. I'm most likely to draw a land here. The only cards that are 3-drops that matter. Yeah, I think I do put back the land. And I hope that they don't have Chalice. I could just take the Chalice. Yeah. It'll suck if I have to Wasteland and I don't have May. But I don't know that May's like that good. We'll see what's in their hand. Okay, so their hand is Thought Lash. This is the card that I was saying. Basically, you can prevent damage for the rest of the game. It's very good. Their hand's not spectacular. If they don't find a land, then they can't. So I think we take Impulse to make it harder for them to find a land here. But they have the freaking combo. They can, if they resolve this, the game ends. So sadly, I think the take is just the Thassa's Oracle because we may not get another chance to take a card from their hand. And just them having this combo with Petals or like some combination, like just this looming over the game. But if we draw, yeah, I think I'm just going to do this. And then we're not going to be wasting them. So I'll take the May, or I'll May next turn. And then when they cast Impulse, they'll take damage. When they cast Stock Up, they'll take damage. Yeah, I'll do that. And also Hull Breacher can't beat May because she's first strike. So yeah, I think it's the Thassa's Oracle just to control. Like it's harder for them to find a Thassa's Oracle than it is for them to find something that enables a Thassa's Oracle win, if that makes sense. Because they've only got 4 Thassas, but they've got like 8 potential enablers that make Thassa viable. Douthy's not what we're looking for. I'm going to put this out just because I want to get some damage on them. And also, Nethergoyf is very small. If they force share, I'll be happy because I think this is not that big of a threat to them. Okay, island number 2. They have Impulse up. Okay, Swamp. So I think this is probably just Douthy, which is the bigger of the threats. And that allows me to keep up Wasteland, which there's no reason to keep up Wasteland here. I'll come in for 2 here. And we are expanding our clock. And Douthy, like, it's possible that like something good gets into exile and we can do something with it. But I don't think they have any like flashback or anything like that in their deck. This is a great match. I'm having fun. Okay, step through. They're going to be able to go get another Oracle. So they do have like maybe like 5, 6 win A's if you want to think of it that way. They're going to try to win through the combo. So if they have an Ancient Tomb right here, then we're dead. They're probably just going to stock up for Ancient Tomb. The best draw in our deck is a Hymn. Or really just the Thoughtseize. To take out the Thassa's Oracle would be great. Because Hymn might miss. We have to... They need a turn to... Yeah, this is stock up. We'll always yield to this ability. So if they find just any land, they can cast the Thought Lash. Then the following turn, they can cast the Thassa's Oracle. And once Thought Lash comes out, we will never win through combat damage. This is a deck specialist. I may have played against this player when I was in Japan. I played against somebody who just plays this, and they've been playing it for years. And I think they've had really good results at major Japanese events. All right, and we don't know what they took, but we can presume they probably took land. Okay, so this doesn't do anything here. If I put my deck onto the table... Oh, wait. I could just stock up to try to find... Yeah, I think I actually do stock up here and try to find a Thoughtseize. I think that's better than attacking. Step through. What does this do? Return up to 2 target creatures. So this is not going to be super useful. And it's also a sorcery. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with the stock up. Do I want to fetch first just to get a land out of my deck? There's no harm in doing that. We really need Thoughtseize here. And you might be saying like, oh, so let's do the math before we attack. So we could attack for 5, then they play that, and then attacking doesn't matter anymore at that point. So I am going to stock up. Yeah, so we would get them down to 11, and then they would have basically infinite life. Not actual infinite life, but they'd have like 60 life. And they would just need to resolve one more spell after that. Okay, Hymn. We take the Hymn. We take the Bauble, I think, to potentially draw into another Hymn. Shielders Edict doesn't do enough here. We're going to take some damage, but I don't think it matters. We did get the Thought Lash. That's big. That was big. Okay. I'm going to ping myself with May. She's very scornful. She doesn't care if it's me that's casting the spell. She's still going to throw a dagger at me. They're drawing Force. Okay, well, I'm glad they didn't draw that previous turn. All right, so we'll stick the Goyf. And I probably could have tapped differently. No, I couldn't have tapped differently. I couldn't have deployed my second Goyf this turn cycle. So we have a lot of pressure on the table. They lost their Thought Lash, which was their enabler. They're about to draw a Force. We got an island out of their hand too, which means even if they do draw another one, they're not going to be able to use it. So I think they got an island off of that. Let's see what we draw here. Hull Breacher. Oh, that's pretty good. I totally forgot they freaking had a Hull Breacher. That was dumb of me. Okay, they get a treasure token. Wow, that was a huge punt, folks. Sorry. I just totally blanked on the fact that they get Hull Breacher that. Cavern. And this is as it comes in, so I can't waste to like stop it. So they have a Merfolk. Okay, I will be wasting that though. Yeah, it was totally dumb. I should have just taken the Shielders Edict. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get rid of this. Not that it matters because they can still cast the stuff they need to cast. Oh, they're just going to float. That's fine. Let's come across. I can attack with both of these with impunity because of first strike. And then I'm just going to basically put lethal pressure on the table, I think. They may be thinking that they can attack. Or no, they're probably thinking they're going to survive. And if they force one of these, I can just redeploy. So the card that... let's see. They just have Step Throw and Exile. So they haven't forced anything yet. They may force this. And then next turn I can just bring it back, but it'll be at a cost of making my dude smaller. So we do have lethal on the table. The game is out of our hands. It's just a question of, okay, can they win? Days Undoing. So you get a new hand. Oh no, they make our freaking Goyfs do nothing. That sucks. They have a ton of mana. All right. Come on, something that makes our Goyfs bigger. They probably will block one if I attack, and that's a favorable outcome here. I think they can just win, unfortunately. Like, I don't know what's in their hand, but they have so much mana. Yeah, if I'd taken the Shielders Edict, none of this would have been a freaking issue. I punted so hard, my excellent friends. I'm sorry. I'm going to... Let's see. Will it be a force? I bet you they'll block one, which will grow the other ones. Because I could have some sort of instant that, like, grows them. My opponent's too smart. I'm not going to reveal that I have this as my last card. They're at 4. They can cast 2 non-creature spells, but all they need to do is cast 1 and then Oracle me. So we don't know what their hand is, but we know they have vast sums of mana. I'll just pass with a card in my hand, and for all they know, it's like a lightning bolt or a bump in the night. Actually, I think bump in the night's a sorcery. I don't know what I could have that could kill them from here. Yeah, that was a game-losing punt. So if we were going to get a trophy, I threw it away when I chose to get the bauble in the light of the known information of Hull Breacher. So, again, I'm kicking myself over that. Maybe we get lucky and they just can't win with May out. Stock up. Okay, there are 2. I don't think they can win anymore. They could just play another Hull Breacher or something and then have a blocker. I don't think they have any life gain in their deck. I think the best play would just be a second Hull Breacher, and then they could double block May. An Oracle would also be okay. They could have just like step through and just step through it. Bowmaster would be clutch. I mean, they probably have a Force, but Force would kill them. What? I can't believe it. I don't deserve it. Shout out to Utsunomiya. Very chill opponent. Very cool brew. 3-0. Round 4, we are getting a lot of combo gamers up in the house today. They're likely on Epic Storm, you think? Let's take a look at their history. Epic Storm, Besiege Storm. Oh, they played Besiege Storm at one point. Yeah, this is from like yesterday. They got a trophy with Epic Storm yesterday. It's very hard to trophy with this deck, but it is very good. Like, if you can win... Wait, they didn't trophy. They went 3-3. This is a result. Yeah, 23rd. So they're just doing challenges. It's actually harder to trophy than it is to top 8 a challenge in a lot of circumstances because you have to win 5 in a row, whereas if you win like a challenge, you might have gone like, 4-2 and then made top 8 or something like that. Just to give context, but still going 3-3 in a challenge, that means there's a ratcheting effect. So if they won the first 3 matches, then they were up against people that were also 3-0. Let's think about this. Oh, they said, thanks for the content. Enjoyable watch. Thanks. I'm glad you're digging it. So, against the Epic Storm, this is a dead card. This is a dead card. This is almost certainly a dead card. I'm going to Mola. And it could be that they're just like blowing off steam after playing the Epic Storm. And here we go, a non-functional hand. I'll mulligan this as well. This is probably the best card hand we've seen. I'll put back a Berry. I'll put back a Shield's Edict. And then I'll try to turn to Douthie. We're not going to put up much resistance here. But they may have assumed, like if they're a fan of the channel, they're going to correctly observe that I'm going to look for to see what they play, because you should. It's public information, and your opponent may very well be doing that. And my opponents are highly likely to have an idea that I'm probably on control, which actually is serving me well here because I'm not on control today. But you should look your opponents up is what I'm saying, and you shouldn't feel that that's wrong to do so. It's actually wrong to not do so because you're handicapping yourself unilaterally. It's not like some gentlemanly thing. Okay, so the plan is very simple. We're going to die. We're going to die. And we're going to try to win game 2. They've got the sweet breakthrough thing. I love breakthrough as a card. Yeah, I think we might actually die here. They can search. They can go get an LED. So what we kept is not really of consequence. I'm actually kind of like not going to show them the swamp, because by playing Verdant Catacombs, maybe they'll think I'm on Storm because they're playing Storm, you know. But we're not going to get a turn, unfortunately. Or we're going to get a turn. We're extremely unlikely to get a second turn. They do have Mox Opal turn on. I'm just going to play this. And, you know, like him actually doesn't even do anything here because they have the card that they need through this. They could have passed this to me. It wouldn't have even mattered. Like, what would I have gotten? Like a Dark Ritual, I guess, for the subsequent turn. But then I would have to pass it back. And you don't generally want to pass this back to your opponent. So again, like against Storm, you just aren't going to win generally. We've been getting very lucky. The fact that we're 3-0 against, I think, 2 combo decks and 1 fair deck. I'm trying to even remember what round 1 was. But it's pretty par for the course. Why are they not doing anything here? That's crazy to me. Okay, well, I'll just wait till my upkeep. I'm going to fetch a Swamp just to minimize the likelihood of drawing a Swamp. But they're going to see what deck we're on, unfortunately. We'll draw. Okay, it's a land even though I didn't want it. If I do it again, though, then I put myself in the danger zone as far as Storm is concerned. So if I him them, I take 3 cards, but that may not even matter. They may also have Veil. They do have Veil mana up. But I think they're playing Mono Black Saga Storm, because that used Wishclaw and Ad Nauseum. I think we're much more likely to have an impact by hemming them than we are to Douthie. And then next turn, we just stick Barragoyf. And Barragoyf will probably be pretty big, because I imagine they're going to put some juicy stuff in their yard here. Please don't fail. Beseech! That's good. And a Petal. The Petal doesn't really matter, but Beseech is a big deal. Okay. They can still go get, like, you know, they're almost hellbent, so they can probably just go get, what's it called, and get anything they want. But why would they tutor for a tutor? I don't know what I'm talking about. If you haven't noticed by now, like, I don't actually play Storm. I don't really know all the play patterns. I just know them from the other side of the table. They suspend guys will. Okay, so that is a way to get access to their graveyard in, like, 2 turns. Okay, Infernal Tutor. This probably gets LED. But it can get anything. We don't even know what they get. Okay. So they're going to be able to... Oh, yeah, it did get LED. I was correct. So we have 2 turns? Or 4 turns. Oh, that's quite a while. Okay, good. Well, I'm going to play Barragoyf, because Barragoyf has the highest likelihood of killing them before Guy's Will goes off. I think I'm just going to... so he's a 3-4, but he will grow when he connects. I think it's better than Douthie at this point. I'll play the Wasteland just so I don't have to take another damage. It might be of consequence, but I'm going to gain life off Barragoyf anyway. Doesn't really matter. I could hide the fact that I have this. I don't know what tactical value it is. I just overanalyze every single little decision. That's my playstyle, is the dirtily overthink and then get punished for overthinking, but like overthinking on the wrong things and missing the obvious thing, like the freaking last game with the bobble into the Hull Breacher. We got extremely lucky that final game, by the way. That was exceptional luck that they had that much mana, that many cards, and they still couldn't cobble together a win because of May. She was very strong there. I was not even sure if we should bring her in, but of course we should bring her in. But she definitely proved her worth there. Okay, this is 4 mana. They're going to go get something. Okay, we've got a Witchclaw Talisman, which, again, you don't want to pass back to your opponents. As tempting as it may be. Ad Nauseum. Okay, are we dead? They can only go so low here. We're at 19th. They need a lot of Storm. I don't care about Thoughtseize. They're not probably going to be able to use Thoughtseize. I think I'm not sure that they were under that much pressure they needed to take this risk. They're at 6. There's a Dark Writ. They do have Chrome Mox. I think they can probably win from here. They can Beseech. Burning Wish. Okay, they should stop now. They're at 3. I think it'd be crazy to keep going and risk the death. But they do have to win now. So maybe they're doing the math and they're trying to figure out whether they can win with this. So what I see from my side of the table is they have some unknown amount of Storm because MTGO always shows the Storm count at random things when I'm not even playing Storm, and it won't show it when I'm up against the Storm player where the Storm count is very relevant. So I think they just had... What did they cast this turn? Did they cast anything this turn other than this? I don't think they did. They just activated this and went and got something. So Storm is 1 right now. Then they can Petal and Chrome Mox. That's 2 mana. They can Dark Writ. That's 3 mana. They can make their land drop. Then they can Durus. They can Burning. I feel very confident that they can win from here. Especially they have another Infernal Tutor. They didn't get an LED though, which may be what they're looking for. Because they can Dark Ritual. They can Beseech. That will Tendrils me, but I don't think that'll be... Excuse me. I don't think that'll be lethal. And even a baby Tendrils doesn't do it here because I'm just going to kill them. They'll gain some life, but I'll gain a bunch of life off this berry. Come on, flip a card. Flip a card, make my life easy so I don't have to think. I want to save my precious calories so I can, compose a sonnet after this league. Baragorth may actually be really clutch here. I mean, they could go get Past in Flames, but again, I don't even know if they would play Past in Flames because it doesn't really get back any ritual effects. It doesn't allow you to play sorceries or instants or art. It only allows instants and sorceries. So I don't think Past in Flames helps here. I'm just trying to think of cards they might have in their sideboard. Obviously, if they have some sort of bounce spell and they do have access to blue mana, they could just bounce it out of play. Because Vault of Whispers, Chrome Mox pitching a Burning Wish, go get bounce spell. Okay, they are going to keep going. There's another Mox Opal. That's more mana. Come on, one more. Flip the Tendrils. Flip the Tendrils. None of these cards are going to take life from them. They're definitely not going to be casting Thoughtseize. So, yeah, it's really just Tendrils, I think, is probably the one remaining card in their deck that kills them. Or if they flip another Beseech. So we've seen 2 of those. It's an unenviable task. I don't get tilted when I lose to Storm because I know how hard it is. I get tilted when I lose to Oops because I know how easy it is. Okay, they stopped while they're ahead. Let's see if they can win. Badlands. Chrome Mox. I'm just going to have 6 here. Obviously, I wouldn't have let that resolve if I could do anything about it. So, Baragorth is now 4-5. We can kill them a little bit harder if we ever get a turn. But I seriously doubt we're going to get a turn. I don't think they would have stopped if they didn't have a deterministic line. So this is Beseech. Again, I just don't know what the Storm count is. Hopefully it's showing up for them so they can at least proceed without having to desperately try to calculate. I think Storm is 4 or 5 here. They need to get all the way up to Storm 9 to kill us. And they have cast out their free spells. Infernal Tutor. Okay. They just get another Dark Writ. So they Dark Writ, Beseech. Okay, Storm count showed up. Finally. All right. I think we're dead. So they can Beseech into Beseech. They have plenty of things to sack, but they only have I think they have 2 more Beseeches. Infernal Tutor again. Okay, another Dark Writ. Okay, yeah, they found the line. Now they just Beseech with this 4 mana, or this 6 mana, and then they Tendrils, and we're dead. All right, I'll just give them a WP because I know that was not easy. Good game. Okay. So Disruptor Flute, Damping Sphere is the real Windmill Slam. Hammer. May, of course, very strong here. We're taking out our Fatal Pushes. We're taking out our Shieldred's Edicts. Taking out Obsessive Pursuit. Taking out Cecil. I don't want to reduce my life total voluntarily. Taking out Barry. Oh, wait. I need to take out the Shieldred's Edicts. So I guess I'll bring back in Barry. And I guess I'll keep Turok. He may seem extremely weak, but like a discard effect is relevant. Is it worth playing this guy? I mean, he's so meh. If it's not turn 2 and you don't have a Dark Ritual in your hand. I think this is just for long games. I think I'd rather have I could bring in Leyline. It just feels really bad. It's probably better than one of these other cards that doesn't do anything. There is a world in which... Did we see Urza Saga? I don't think we saw Urza Saga that game. They may not be on the same... I think they're on just like Ad Nauseum Tendrils. But they're playing... No, I think they're just playing the Vault of Whispers because they're playing... Yeah, we didn't see... Like, we saw probably like a third of their deck and we didn't see it. Okay, so Baragoyf is slow. We know that. But he does put us at a life total that makes it very hard for them to win because they're not going to win with like arbitrarily a large storm. They are limited in how much storm they can achieve. So Leyline of the Void does do stuff. It's just not a great card. Maybe it is Cecil. I can't get behind doing damage to ourselves. I've been stormed out at like 14 life too many times where it wouldn't have been viable without it. I think I'll just bring in one Leyline. And that may seem crazy, but yeah, you don't always have to bring in 4. All right, let's try this. So we're looking for Dark Ritual hands. Thoughtseize hands. Or how about this insane hand that deploys Bowmasters and Douthie and Dark Ritual in the same turn cycle? I like it. What is Disruptor Flute going to name? What's the key card? I mean, we could just name Tendrils, but they can override that. We could name Burning Wish. I mean, they can get enough mana. Late in the game, I think it's a mistake to name Tendrils. I could just... Yeah, I can't... The thing is, I can't... I want to get all this down turn 1. I want to play my entire hand. So I'm definitely keeping this. Like, you keep these Dark Ritual hands here. So I think what we do is we swamp Dark Ritual. We could just name Dark Ritual to like completely invalidate it. We're unlikely to draw our final Dark Ritual. We could also name Talon Wishclaw Talisman. I think that's fine because even if they can muscle it out, it's probably not going to work. There's no one card that we name. Beseech, again, they can just pay extra to use its ability. We could name LED. I actually think LED is the name. Yeah, I think I'm going to name LED. Crazy, just Dark Ritualing 3 times. Okay, we've got 7 mana. So I'll start with the Douthie here. Then I'll do the Bowmaster. And this is the legacy power level thing. Like Dark Ritual is the reason this deck is legacy power level. Because you can do just crazy turns like this. And it's going to be hard for them to win without Lion's Eye Diamond. I think. Like they could just like Dark Ritual do a bunch of stuff. But we have 20 life. Yeah, and their graveyard shut off. So one line is they could have like an Urza Saga type thing. They said ouch in the chat. That's good. But unfortunately, I'm not even sure if they're playing blue. We didn't see any blue. So this Bowmaster might not actually do that much. But it will, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if they're, like, I think their deck is almost all tutors and almost all mana. And that's how they win. They have like 8 tutors. But we are hitting for 5. And we have shut off the graveyard. Pedal. I'll just F6 here. There's nothing to be done. No cards up my sleeve. You can't cheat on MTGO, thankfully. All right, Barry is fine. He'll maybe come out at sometime. The game is very simple from here. I'm not going to F6 because I wanted to think I may have something to do here, like a surgical or something. You can tactically F6. Like this game is not going to go to time. This match. Okay, they're going to They started to add black, so I thought they had Dark Ritual. They might bother like duressing me or thoughtseizing me because I'm not F6. And they may have just tested to see whether I'm F6. That would be a good way to do that. Now, actually, I don't think I can interact there. So maybe that didn't even check to see whether I'm F6ing. Maybe I'm just over-indexing on them trying to glean whatever information I can in this very poor matchup. I think this is probably like a 30-70 matchup. Maybe it's not that bad. Dark Ritual. So I'm going to think for this for a second, and then I'll let it go. Dark Ritual. Okay. They could add Naus here. Cabal Ritual. Okay. They could draw half their deck with that one card. But actually, I think... Oh, LED that doesn't... Okay, they're going to try to storm us. Wait, this stops mana abilities, right? Oh, no! Oh, no! I punted so hard. I didn't realize that this didn't stop mana abilities. So they can still do everything as though this weren't even on the table. That's embarrassing. Oh my goodness, people have already commented. They've already left comments like, I'm just blindly continuing thinking I'm protected. I'm not protected from Jack. They did have to pay 3 mana for this. But they are going to be able to search their deck. Yeah. So it wasn't like, okay, well, it won anyway, just because they had to blow so much mana. But lesson learned. Oh my goodness. Like, this is the second time this league where I feel like I've just been gifted a win when I did not deserve it. I think LEDs come in, or Leylines come in here. Game 3, Barragoyfs come out. Nethergoyf, you might be thinking, oh, it's just like a generic beater. It doesn't do anything, but it gets out early and it closes. And that's what I'm looking for in my beaters. Like, this is almost certainly not going to do anything, this card, but so little will matter here. Because they're going to go first, and they're going to sculpt a hand knowing that I don't have Force of Will in my deck. Knowing that I'm a total sitting duck. So really, this game comes down to how good my opponent's mulligans are, ultimately. But I don't expect to win this one. I think next time I'll name Dark Ritual. I don't think that we keep this. It's an okay hand, but it's not explosive. Disruptor Flute, we can't rely on that. I'm going to try to probably just mold to Leyline because that's something I can do that has some turn 0 influence. If I can find like a Dark Ritual Thoughtseize plus threat hand, I'll keep that. Because we might get a turn. This is not as explosive. It's not like we're up against Oopsal spells that has to win turn 1 or it doesn't win. So let's mulligan this. This hand is very disruptive, but it doesn't have mana. I'm going to mulligan this as well. My opponent mulliganed. I just have to they mulligan really hard and their deck fails. They mulligan again. Okay, this is great. So I'll keep this. I'll put back one of the Leylines. I think they're unlikely to interact or care. And then we have two of our best combo pieces. So I'll put back the Nethergoyf, and we'll turn 1. We'll just do nothing. Turn 2, we'll stick May. This way, if they are going to use their graveyard, it's shut off. Like if they kept hoping to use their graveyard. So this is about as good of a mulligan to 5 as we could expect. Duress. Okay, they're going to take our Damping Sphere here, but they're not going to be able to take our May. And May is going to mess them up really badly because they rely on their life total to win. A lot of Storm decks don't. Okay, do you just win now? Ladies. Okay, they're playing these now so they don't have to play them into May. That makes sense. So I'm not going to waste here. I'm just going to get May on the table as soon as possible. I'll pass. I will fetch before I draw, but there's no reason to show them that I don't have a Surveillant in my deck. They may have already surmised that, but it's a very minor thing. But when you're playing Legacy, every little decision matters. Like every little punt is potentially catastrophic. I just want to drive that home to everybody watching. Like every single punt can lose you the match. We probably should have lost the previous round. We definitely should have lost the previous game. Okay, that's a bad draw. I'm going to lead with Wasteland. They've already seen it, and that way I don't have to fetch, so I just have a tiny bit more life. All right, so this will start attacking, and then it really just comes down to how fast they can go off with their 2-card hand. Now drawing to 3. Ad Nauseum may be off the table. They may have removal for May. Even if they do, it's almost certainly going to cost them 2 life to do it. Then I can waste their vault and set them back mana-wise. I can play out the Delta and just not crack it until I really need to keep myself at 9 Storm requirement. Bone Shards. Okay. They have to sacrifice an artifact. Okay, that does work. What did they discard? They discarded. Okay. Well, that's a good card. May off the top. Let's do it. Oh, that's good. So I'm not going to name Disruptor Flute here. I'm going to name... I think I named the... Yeah, I am going to waste them here for sure. Let's do that. They could draw Urza Saga, but I don't really care. They're not going to have mana to activate it. They will be able to go get another LED. I could wait and do this while they're doing stuff. I think the main thing is, like, if they start to crack these, like, I can't respond. It's a mana ability. And they could put they're not going to be able to put the thing on the stack. I mean, I'm like seriously inclined to just wait, but then I do add to their storm. Yeah, I could wait and see what they do. If they Dark Writ, like if they cast it and they don't crack these, I think I can interact. I think I'll wait. Because what's the scariest thing they could draw here? Probably just mana. Like I could, if they draw Urza Saga, I could keep them from creating constructs. I like the flexibility. I don't think they're going to win with one card and LEDs. Because they need mana to get the initial spell in the stack. I might actually just go after this and see what they do. Because I want to be mana efficient here. It just seems really bad to go after Bloodstained Mire. But if they let me, I think I'm going to do it. It's in my deck too. I don't really care. Is this the correct thing to do? We could like literally name anything. Oh, it's so hard. So hard. But I think depriving them initial mana is worth it. Okay. So again, I'll probably draw a Bloodstained Mire right now. Okay, I didn't. I'll play this out. I mean, I could always play a second Leyline of the Void just and cast it out. Okay, the Badlands. Okay. So they're on 1 mana. They can't do like if they get to 2 mana, then they can cast that other guy, the Infernal Tutor. Come on, threat. Bubble. Let's do it. We'll see what they're going to draw here. Hopefully it's not land. Beseech. Okay. So if they have a Dark Ritual, they still can't Beseech. They need more than that. So I draw my card. Him! All right. So we can him him this turn. If they can't cast that Beseech. And I don't think they can. All right. All right. That is not the card that I feared it would be, Bloodstained Mire. I will fetch to thin. I'm currently at 9 Swarm required. Okay, what do we exile? Infernal Tutor! So this was clutch. This was out, like, this was the correct thing. I mean, I could have named Infernal Tutor, but I probably wouldn't have named it. I probably would have named the other card. So, like, needling that was impactful, is what I'm trying to say. For anybody in the comment who ever doubted me. They said, haha, the F6 got me. Whoops. What would they have done? Oh, I think that they're talking about the Bloodstained Mire name. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and just do this now, I guess. I could do it during the upkeep. It doesn't matter. My opponent's not playing Stifle. Okay. Let's draw. Okay. I'm going to him him again. I mean, I could wait a turn and get 2 cards. I'm playing with fire. I think I just him him again. Infernal Tutor. Holy cow, that was a good call. If they had been able to cast that, we would be screwed. We're just living on borrowed time while we try to find a win con. But those hymns have been helpful. Win con! And it's pretty big. And it will fill up my graveyard and give me more action and end the game pretty quickly, hopefully. All right, we are getting a turn to attack and to grow our Goyf. Uncle Barry loves to get down at the discotheque. Yeah, let's go ahead and attack, and then we'll see what we find here. Wait, is there an instant in the graveyard? There's not. I think I just Dark Ritual now. I know that may seem janky. I should have done it before and like actually cast this Leyline. Because I'll do extra damage. Yeah, I'm going to do it. So we'll hit for 5. We'll get extra cards in the graveyard. Again, not the tightest of play. Come on, May. Let's find a May. Hell yeah! Hell yeah, we win! Like, I don't know how they're going to overcome this thing. That is devastating. We got so freaking lucky this game. They could still win, but it's unlikely. They did have, like, Bone Shards, so they could potentially remove May. But we're hitting for 7 next turn. Their life is dwindling. We're at 22. We're very, like, they do need us to have a low life total to storm us out. I just don't think they have the resources to do it. This was the absolute clutch decision here to choose Bloodstained Mire. They had Infernal Tutor twice, which would have won them the game. Infernal Tutor with 2 LEDs wins the game. And this was our only Uncle Barry, I think. I think we took all the other ones out. So Uncle Barry, like maybe I shouldn't, doubt him so much. He is my favorite uncle. Shout out to all the uncles in my life, but Barry is chief among them. All right, we won the match. Super lucky. We're 4-0? We're 4-0. We've only lost 2 games this entire league. Let's see if we can get the trophy. Pressure's on. Final round. We're up against a possible lands player. Let's think about this hand. This is a Dark Ritual hand, but we don't have anything to do with the extra mana. If they're on like a white deck, which they do play, they're a big fan. They said, big fan, good luck. If they're going to be plowing me, if they're on lands, Douthy's insane, and he is worth Dark Ritualing out. Oh yeah, I have Dark Ritual Nethergoyf. I can just play Nethergoyf. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, this is a snap keep. Like in the blind, it's good. We're doing 2 things off Dark Ritual, and we're also bobbling, so Nethergoyf will be pretty large. I don't have a fetch land, but I'll probably draw a fetch land. This is like a lands opening or a depths opening. Savannah, very cool. So Sylvan Safekeeper actually doesn't have that big of an impact on me here. I could Bowmaster Ping and see if they want to sacrifice that land, but I think I'm just going to get on the table with like a lot of threats. Okay, so yeah, this card is annoying to face. But if we pressure them enough, it doesn't matter that they have a Sylvan Safekeeper out. Next turn I can Bowmaster anyway. I could Bowmaster and Nethergoyf, and they'll almost certainly sack the land to protect Safekeeper and keep me down on a card. But if they don't have enough lands, I mean, if they're on depths, they have so much lands, it's probably not going to matter. It's possible that we can discard something from their hand later that is worth Douthying. Like, I would definitely... yeah, I think I'm going to just Dark Ritual Douthy Nethergoyf. Let's see what they're drawing. Or we can see what we're drawing and then decide how we want to lead. I think I like that better. Okay, Baragorgth is extremely strong in the matchup, and we will have the mana to deploy him. So I'm going to do this. Dark Ritual. Deathy Voidwalker. They can nuke our graveyard, which would be annoying. But I think it's probably okay. So next turn, this becomes 3-4 when it swings in. We draw the berry. Yeah, I mean, this is such a flexible card. Again, I'll just shout out Mishra's Bauble. It's an artifact type. Like, I'm so glad I'm playing 4 of them. And they do sometimes come up where they're not good. Like the time that I voluntarily took it over a Sheoldred's Edict. Yeah, Pepperidge Farm remembers. Maze. That will keep Barry distracted for quite a while. All right, so this is probably just Bowmaster. I do want to fetch just to get a type in the yard. I guess my question is, do I want to do this before I attack? I think I'm just going to go to combat here. I'll attack with both of these. We'll see how they choose to maze. It's fine. I am going to go ahead and just attempt to ping this right now. They may just sack this maze. I should have done this after blocks, by the way. So they are... Oh, what? Really? Okay. Well, if they play another Mana Dork, I've got an answer for them. Yeah, Maya. Is this the big girl? She is big. No, she's not that big. She's 3/3. She's smaller than Goyf. Okay. Him, I think, is sweet here. I think I just him. I want to bury. But the problem is she can go get... she can wipe my graveyard and reset my berry. If she blocks here, I do have a Bowmaster to kill. But it's going to be the world's most obvious Bowmaster if I attack with Orc Army. They can't put lands in their graveyard, which does stunt her growth quite a bit. I think getting Barry out... Again, they're almost certainly just going to go get Bojuka Bog when Barry attacks and combat trick him down. I'll play out the land. I'm going to go ahead and go to combat first. And again, if they block this, I will happily kill this. They don't block. Do I want to go ahead and Bowmaster again just to diversify my threats and do 2 extra damage? Or do I want to Leyline him them? I think I do want to him them instead. But this does extra pressure, and maybe that's the more important thing. I think I'm going to do the extra pressure play. They already know about this. No, I'm going to him afterward because I might be able to get like some Pissant creature. Yeah, I would like to play out the Baragorgth, don't get me wrong. But I would also like to not be extremely vulnerable to them just, annihilating my graveyard, which they can do with a tap of. Okay. Okay. If we got 2 lands, this would have been pretty good. Okay, cool. I could get Sylph in the Safekeeper and then use its ability to ram through a creature later. I think I'm just going to chill. This is for the trophy. I don't want to screw this up. So they're just on green-white depths, which, okay. So now they can create the big dude, which will kill me. They can do it in the end step. Not anymore. Not anymore. What a freaking top deck. Holy cow. All right, too late. You can't do anything. Do we just come across and we do have the Bowmaster and we can ping this? I think I do that. So they can maze one of these. Okay, wow. That feels great. And so now they're gonna do the thing where they go get the yeah. But this does put a card in the void and it doesn't grow this. Okay, they're gonna do that. Adding 1 green, what does that mean? So I think they're gonna Bajuka Bog here, and then I can waste to put a card in the graveyard and do a damage, and then I can also Bowmaster ping, but it's not gonna be enough. I think we just have to let it happen. Yeah, and then they can also maze the Douthie here. What cards do they have in exile? Nothing that is really worth getting. Interesting. Okay, do they have crop rotation here? They're not going to maze anything? I have to keep this Wasteland up for basically the rest of the game. I do think I want to just play this out because it does extra damage. I ping them, and then I go a little wider. Bearwolf is just going to get mazed every turn anyway. And he's small now. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do this just to keep the pressure on this way. Okay, and they take 3 here. I lose my Goyf, which is not that big of a deal. He does grow future Goyfs, though. Okay. Bearwolf's not that small. I'll play him out next turn. I just wanted to go wide because that discourages them from using this main phase. They have to wait. And I don't even care about these Bowmasters. They don't really do it. Well, that would have been nice. They could try to assemble Dark Depths here. That's a really annoying card to face. All right, so this is just a 1-2, but it will screw us up. Like, this game is slipping away. Sheoldred's Edict naming non-token doesn't do enough here. They just sack this. But then we go for 1, 2... We go in like this, and this gets mazed. And they still have this ability. I don't think they can wipe our graveyard a second time. Well, wait, they could probably use Echoing Deeps. So they sack this and they wipe our graveyard a second time. And bury becomes small again. My instinct is just go ahead and bury. So I'll attack with... I attack with these. But this just gets blocked. Man, we don't have good attacks. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm really worried about just like Echoing Deeps to further screw us up. I think I hold the Sheoldred's Edict because I can name token creature if they make it. I don't have good Wasteland until after they've activated, then I can waste something. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do this and we'll pass. This Douthie is doing a lot of load bearing here. And I'm also worried about my clock because I'm 4 minutes behind. Okay. So I'm just going to set a stop here and I'll waste in the end step when they can't do anything about it. See what they get. Okay, so let's think about this. Do we want to waste this? Because they can do a lot of stuff with this. Do we want to shut off green with Yavimaya? Do we just want to stop the Mazevith? I think Mazevith is the call because then we can just attack twice. They may have another mech. They almost certainly have Echoing Deeps. Let's put it that way. But then they'll have to tap this to go get Echoing Deeps. They can do that after blocks. They could assemble Dark Depths, but I have Sheoldred's Edict. But they may have multiple token creatures. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and go for this while they can't do anything they're not going up a land. This may be a fatal mistake. But if they go for Echoing Deeps, then they have to choose between Mazevith or... they're not in the graveyard, so they can't actually do that. Never mind. I was like worried about Echoing Deeps, but it's not actually good here. Unless they just want another Windswept Teeth. Okay. They can still Merit Lage me again. But they have to take a turn off to create a construct or else I can... And they may be able to just create infinite constructs here. Is what they're thinking. Cecil's Dark Knight. I can play him out. I think I'm going to attack with Barry, and then I can Shield Edict to put an instant in the graveyard. They may multi-block this. They can make a dude, but it's not going to be big enough to stop him. Okay, so let's take 3 here. I gain some life. They lose a dude. What is this? Crop rotation? Because they're stopping the life gain. I think they're going to try to Merit Lage me here. Talon Gates. All right, so I think this is as good a time as any to put Shield Edict on the stack. That way, if they try to interact, they're facing this out. Why? What are they going to do with their graveyard here? Yeah, I think I forced them to choose. They could have Talon's Gate. They could find, but they will have to lose one of these creatures. Non-token creature. Okay. I don't think they can win here. They might be able to. It'd be really embarrassing because they could go get Lava Spur Boots and hit me for everything. Yeah, actually, I think I could lose to Lava Spur Boots on... yeah. Is this Dark Depths? Dark Depths, Lava Spur Boots. I don't think they have enough mana, but they could tap this. So they sacrifice this. Then they tap that, and I think they have exactly enough to Dark Depths and Lava Spur Boots me. Because they float if they have a land in hand. So I made a punt in there. But I was like, this is a clean opportunity to get rid of one of these enablers. Okay, that's fine. That means we're not dying next turn. But we're probably dying soon. Okay, this phases out. They're creating the dude. That's fine. So this dude is a blocker. Maybe I should have attacked with everything? I don't know. I didn't want to just lose the Orc army. In combat, that's a valuable game piece. If they do stuff to like tap too low. Okay, so these are going to be 3/3s. Now they've largely invalidated my squad. They could have endurance is another thing they can have. So this gets bigger now, and they want to crop rotate and do everything they can. Okay, that's very strong. This deck is very hard to beat. Like, they are absolutely favored in this matchup, if you haven't noticed. And I could have played out Cecil, and I actually probably punted by not playing out Cecil, because that would have been an additional win con. Yeah, I think that was a huge punt. I was just so distracted with what they were doing, I didn't play out Cecil. That's being staged, so they can... Another Reclaimer. Yeah, that's a good card. And now it's a big card. So I think they've turned the corner here. I can attack for 3 and with Baragoyf, but they might be able to multi-block. I guess they didn't have an artifact to find. They failed to find there. Yeah, I think I just preserve information. I'm going to attack with both of these. And I think we're going to get 3 damage through. They may be able to phase it out one more time. That's fine. I'll gain some life. Now I don't have to worry about that other card. I'm just going to dump my hand. I just have to survive a turn cycle at 24 life. And I think they're dead to Douthie, but they may have another trick to get him phased out. I will F6. Okay, let's see what they do here. This is a great game, though. And again, I'm worried about my clock. I'm down to 14 minutes, and this is definitely a clock intensive. Like, they have so many lines available to them. It's extremely difficult to figure out combinatorially what they're capable of. Like, in terms of just like they have so many different branching strategies. It really is a thinking person's deck, what they're playing. Much more so than mine, but I do have to stop it. Okay, so that is bad for us. They don't have good attacks. Okay. So I think, do we just send in with everything here, or is that going to lead us to death? Let's think about this. I mean, my instinct is send in with everything. And then they have to block Thespian Stage. I think I send in with everything just to reduce their life. I don't think these Bowmasters are going to matter that much. Currently, the Construct's only a 1/1. We'll lose some creatures in the process. I could stop to think about this, but I'm really worried about clock, and I don't think we're going to win. We're either going to win by a huge margin or we're going to lose. Okay, I think this is what winning looks like. That didn't die? Okay. Well, I guess I'll play this out, and I will play my fetch out, and I'll F6. I can't bring back Nethergoyf yet. We'll just F6. They're at 1. Only one of these threats needs to get through to win. They don't have the resources to Dark Depths us. We have 30 life. We'll see what they can come up with. But I just want to showcase the sheer power of the deck my opponent's playing. And I want to shout out my friend John Lee, who played this deck for many years. I think he got sick of dying to combo. What does this do? Create a bear creature. Okay, so they can just basically create creatures indefinitely, but they can't fetch. No, they can tap without fetching. Okay. Are they just going to create the bear now? Create a bear token, then mill 3 cards. Okay. So they are stacking up their creatures. Now they have a threat that can overpower us. We need like a fatal push, and then I think we win. Dark Ritual doesn't do it. Wait, Dark Ritual instant. We can bring back a Nethergoyf. We only have 3 types. If I attack in, this will almost certainly claim the Knight, which is a trade I'm willing to make. Does Dark Ritual change anything? They have instant. I don't think it does. But if this dies, then I can bring back Baragorf and I'm taking on one of their creatures. And I've gained a bunch of life. Again, I don't think that... They may have Sajiri Step. They have Sajiri Step. They have Sajiri Step and then this dies. And I look like a fool for throwing away my Baragorf. But the game gets worse. We still have 2 more... They could also have Plow for one of their dudes. Yeah, I think I'm going to just play this out. I'm not going to attack. I'm afraid of Sajiri Step. I'll play this out. And then I have Dark Ritual, Nethergoyf. But that reduces the size of my berry. I'm just going to pass. Again, I'm really worried about clock. And it may not seem like I should be, but like I'm absolutely worried. They can do so much here. It seems crazy, but yeah, like, oh, okay, Echoing Deep's copying. Okay, so they're going to have even more creatures now. And you might think like, oh, this game's slipping away because you didn't do XYZ. Just trust me. Like, if you actually knew like all the different options that they're available, like you would probably also feel like, okay, like we're screwed here. Because they just have so many freaking options. It's crazy. Okay, Lava Spur. I can probably F6 here. They're not going to combat. They're continuing to hold back. They can bounce this back to hand. I can F6 and make them kill me over the course of the next few turns, but I don't think that that's a strategy that's going to work. I'm down a lot of clock. All right, so I do think we bring back a Baragorf here. Or, yeah. Yeah, I'll just Dark Ritual, and then I bring back Nethergoyf, and he's small, but it's another game piece. And now I can... Oh, wait, I only have 3 types. That was a punt. Okay. That was a punt. I'm just going to keep going. I'm not going to get too tilted. We don't have good attacks here because, again, they have Sajiri Step in their deck. I'm just going to assume it's there. They're going to have to get through this Baragorf, which they will get through eventually. Yeah. I'll just F6 through their turn. I don't think we're going to win this trophy, unfortunately. This is just like so adverse. The fact that they have removal dodging on a stick in Sylvan Safekeeper. Yeah, I don't think that they have... Okay, they whiff on that again. We just have to find the Bowmaster. If we find Bowmaster, I think we're okay. They're Hellbent. I don't think they can gain life and instant speed. They don't have the... All right, I'll just play this out, and I'm going to pass, and they're just going to bounce it, and then we'll move on with our day. I'm just waiting for Bowmaster. That's literally the only thing that can save me here. If they find a plow, then they can plow. They don't seem to have Shadow Spear in their deck. There's a Wasteland. They're just getting cards out of their deck to make this inassailably large. Then they can give it protection and attack. So my strategy is to kind of even out the clocks a little bit. Not that I think I'm going to time out my opponent because they are, 3 minutes ahead of me, 4 minutes ahead of me, but because it does kind of constrain their thinking. Like the way I'm constrained and I'm kind of panic thinking right now, they're going to have to deal with some of that too. Okay, this is another night. So again, Bowmasters still does it if we can find it. Lava Spur. I will just block here. Okay. So I'll block this one because it's going to do more damage. It'll die to combat. I'll take a bunch. Come on, Bowmaster. I should be fetching to just thin my deck at this point. I can bring back another Goyf. I think I should. No, I can't. Sorry. I'll play this out. Just further text their clock. And I'm just going to chill. I don't think they have me dead this turn cycle. So I have one more look for Beargoyf. Or not, I mean, Beargoyf would buy some time, but I still explore. Do I want to give them the ability to waste my lands? I can't really have 6 here. Okay, that's the first trigger. They mill. Legolas Quick Reflex, terrifying card. We have 2 outs in 39 cards. Wait, does this gain life? No. I don't think they have any life gain in their deck. This doesn't gain life. I don't think they have lifelink. They shoot Caracas this back. They do. All right, I will just block here. No, it's not worth. I'll just take it. Take it all. So I'm going to go ahead and thin. All right, we grab our swamps. It has to be Orcish Spellmaster here. Good game. I'm not going to make them kill me. I could do that for clock. I don't think it's worth it. Okay, so they're up 2 minutes. Leyline of Void gets in the deck. This card is extremely good against their deck. Torok, for sure. Fatal Pushes. Thoughtseize is... I mean, they're an aggro deck. They can go aggro. I don't really like it. Cecil is bad against the Caracas deck, and we don't really want to do damage to ourselves. I kind of like taking out Thoughtseize here, but it could nail some key card from their hand. They also have Besage, so they can just clear this, but it's still... I can play it back out if like I draw a second one. I think we could trim on Nethergoyf. I'm going to take out the Thoughtseizes. Like they also probably have Veil in their deck. I will trim one Nethergoyf. I think Beargoyf is so good that we should keep him, but we're uniquely vulnerable to Graveyard Disruption. It's worth noting that if they leyline us, then Beargoyf has 0 stats the entire game. But I'm going to take that chance just because he has Death Touch. Yeah, because if I leyline them and they leyline me, I've had that happen before. It's really embarrassing. Okay, this is, we'll keep this. This is a very easy keep. And then we're just going to turn 1, Dark Ritual. I'll fetch. And then I'll make Berry as big as I can, just in case they have some way to disrupt. Okay, now they're going to need to Besage me twice. Let's go ahead and fetch the Thin. And to get a card type in our graveyard. And hopefully this will be a quick game, because game 3 is probably not going to be a quick game. If there's a game 3. I can just F6 through their turn. Don't have a plow, please. Okay, they do. All right, so we have nothing going on. That's a good card. I'm going to snipe something here. I'm not going to just play it out. I have lots of X1s that we can potentially hit. All right, I am going to play it out in the end step. So they could just have a quick Merit Lage here. I'm at 21, thanks to the plow, but it probably won't be enough. Him. Let's do it. Okay, we hit a plow and Lava Spur Boots. Okay, we'll attack for 2 and we'll pass. And we do have a window because they're not going to be able to tap the Dark Depths where we could... I'll just F6 very liberally here. Or we could waste. Okay, Douthy's great. It's just another threat. But they can always choose to exile to Leyline of the Void. I don't think they're going to beat us through conventional. They're also hurting for green mana. They found the Dark Depths. So we're dead if they find another mana source. Obsessive Pursuit is probably worth doing. I'm going to Dark Ritual. And then I'll do it. And then I immediately get the clue. And then I can use the clue. I'm excited to finally use this in the final round. Like, it would have been nice if we drew it in other circumstances. So we get the clue. Let's use the clue to find a Wasteland, please. Okay, that's a land. I'll play it out, and then I'm just going to attack for 5. And then I will put the +1 counter on this creature that can't be blocked, I think. Oh, no. I need to put this trigger on the stack first, so he gets it 2. That's kind of clutch. Okay. I'm glad I didn't punt there. Okay. So now it's a 5-4. They're taking a lot of damage. But again, we're dead to Merit Lage. And now we're dead in one swing. But Lava Spur Boots is in exile. We got it! All right, and we got it quickly. We've got 9 minutes for the final game, which might be enough. I don't think there are any changes here. I still like Leyline of the Void.
Yeah. And I'm hoping Turok can come out too. But that was pretty clutch. Like we got a lot of additional power. We took like an entire turn cycle off the clock with our pursuit card. Okay. This is slow, but it's stable. I'm going to keep it. I like Fatal Push a lot because one of the most powerful things that they can do is just put an elf on the table. They mulled a 5. Okay. Hopefully they're worried about us disrupting their graveyard, which we are going to do, but it's not going to happen immediately. Okay. And if they just put out an elf, I'll kill them immediately and we'll move on with our day. That's their strong turn 1 play, and that's the play they have. Okay. Okay. That's good. Let's go ahead and get our swamp. I can just check and make sure that they don't have something even worse on top that we want to kill, but I can't imagine what's worse than this. This card is insane. This is the best green creature ever printed, in my opinion. It's so flexible, and it's so cheap, and the fact that it becomes a 3/4 is insane. It's bonkers. Okay, we draw our card. Okay, Dark Ritual, that's great. We can do a lot this turn. So I think what we do is probably like Douthie and him. Okay, they take out our graveyard. So Barragwaif is looking less stout. It's worth noting that they have Veil mana up. Leyline of the Void. I could just... Yeah, there's no world in which it's correct to Dark Ritual Leyline out when I can just do Douthie. So let's do this. Dark Ritual, Douthie, and then we him, and we can potentially take a good card here. But if they have Veil, it's devastating. Okay, let's take a look at the spoils of our... Oh, yeah! Crop rotation, and that's good. That's very good. Okay, they're down to 1 card over there. We got their graveyard shut off. They draw up to 2. They do have their colors. They've got 3 colors here. That is a very good card. Douthie is going to be doing some really heavy lifting here. We are going to try to get the land for Barry. We do. That is strong. They've already got the Bojuka Bog on the table. I'm going to come across. Then I'll bury. We're not favored from here, but we do have options. This is summoning 6, so we don't have to worry about them killing us right now. So I'll get Barry on the table, and we'll just continue to make life complicated for them. If they play an X1, we can ping it. Okay. They don't have good attacks. Fatal Push. That's so good. I'm going to wait and see if they try to protect it, and then I can Fatal Push. Yeah, let's go to combat. Fatal Push doesn't change Barry's damage output or anything like that. Let's see what they do. I'm going to respond. I can't respond. Okay, so hear me out. This gets exiled. Then what they can do is they can use the Bojuka Bog. So I need to waste the Bojuka Bog now, which is crazy that I'm wasting a Bojuka Bog. Now they're going to fetch, and when they fetch, I push. Okay, so they can't target Bojuka Bog anymore. So they can't make my Barry 0/1. Wait. Yeah, they can still tap this, so I need to wait for them to tap it, and then I push it. So I'm going to set the stop in my end step, and the minute they activate... Actually, I don't need to set the stop. The minute they activate this, it's dead. But if they, for some reason, don't activate it, then I won't have Revolt, and I won't be able to kill. See, if a permanent was left the battlefield. Okay. So we have it right now, but we won't have it next turn. Okay, let's reveal 4 cards. Yes, please find a creature. We don't. Okay. All right, we're going to pass, and I think they're going to activate. And if they don't, it's a real bummer, but I can't push. Okay, there we go. For some reason, they're doing this with mana. I think that's game. I'm not sure what they're going to get here. What could they get this green mana? Like, why would they flip the green? Mace. Okay. So that's purely defensive. They've got 1 card in hand. They draw a land for turn. Okay, so they can keep us at bay for a while. I need to get this Leyline on the table. Dark Root would be good. Wasteland. I think I just waste the maze and start going to town. Holy cow, I can't believe that this game is coming out this way. This is insane. Absolutely insane. Some Goyfs would be good here. They're at 7. I think we might be getting the trophy, maybe. I don't want to be on our premature celebration. This is absolutely the card we put out. We'll do it right now. This is an unblockable attacker, and it disrupts them. Oh my goodness. To finally trophy with mono black. I've been playing mono black for so long. I've never trophy with it. I don't think I ever have a single mono black trophy on my league, on my YouTube. My heart is like racing. How can this go wrong? We've got 6 minutes on the clock. They put a crop rotation into the... I mean, we've got them dead several ways. We've got Bowmaster Ping as well. If this connects, like if they can deal with this, we can still kill them with that. They do have Maze of Ith, so they could crop rotate and do some shenanigans. They see their card. They know whether they're dead. We got it! Trophy! Yeah! That was a great game. I'm going to see if my opponent's still here. Come on, let me talk to them. Let me talk to them. They're a fan. I want to congratulate them on excellent games. Okay. MTGO. Okay. Well, if you're watching this, I tried Flank Attack. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Congratulations. You played extremely tight. I just got what I needed to win in this pretty unfavorable match. Maybe it's like a 40-60 matchup, but it's definitely unfavorable. There we go. Trophy number 3 of the trophy season. I've got the 2 Beans trophies. Now I've got this one. Let's take a look at the list. I wouldn't change the damn thing. What did we do here? Let's talk about how I changed the deck. So first of all, Cecil didn't do, anything. He got bounced a whole bunch. This could absolutely be something else. What could it be? I don't know. This Obsessive Pursuit, the one game that we actually got on the table, is insane. Like, we got a bunch of extra power on our creature. We got to draw a card. We practically got lifelink. If you sacrifice 3 permanents, you get lifelink. I did play some games last night, and I got that. I was trying to play this in a Moon Shadow shell, but frankly, I'm not convinced Mono Black Moon Shell is going to be a thing. I tried really hard to build Mono Black Moon Shell, and it just doesn't feel nearly as strong as the Red Black Moon Shadow. This could absolutely be Obsessive Pursuit number 4. This card is cracked. It is the new Dark Confidant. I know we didn't get to see it really do Dark Confidant things, but the fact that it's an enchantment, it doesn't get removed, and it immediately gives you a clue, which is just an expensive card draw. But because we're playing such stable mana, there were many games where we had tons of mana lying around and nothing to do with it, right? Like half our games. Like a lot of games, I would just Dark Ritual a whole bunch of times, including that one where I Dark Ritual my entire hand, 3 Dark Rituals, which was a game-winning play. And then we just sit there with tons of mana, nothing to do with it. Their Wastelands don't matter against us. Wasteland does matter only in the context of you're a dark depth deck and you need to waste our waste so that you have a clear path to go off. But I mean, really, I didn't miss the Surveil land. There were some situations where, it'd be nice to Surveil here, but also you have to consider all the games we would have drawn on a Surveil land and done nothing with it. I think 19 is perfectly fine because we have the baubles, so we're virtual 56 card. This is the best mono black deck I've ever played. I will put it that way. I think it may be weird to throw conventional wisdom out and play 4 Hymn to Thorax and 4 Baragoyfs. But what I've found is Baragoyf in the matchups where he's insane, he's so insane that it makes up for all the times that you draw him and you just don't have the mana. And you're usually going to get to the mana. So Cecil, I think, comes out. If it never felt good against those combo decks to be doing damage to ourselves anyway, I'm just not sure what to bring in. We could just take our curve up. We could go up to 20 land. We could just add another fetch here. And then, that's a way to fill up our graveyard. And we and we get very close to the, platonic solid, 4 of everything. We could just play another Fatal Push. But I don't know. We did flood a lot. We never really were not having the mana we needed, I think. We almost always, we can always just use Wasteland as a land instead of using it as a spell. I think probably you just kick this up to 3. But then the main question becomes, okay, what do you board in when you board out your Thoughtseizes? And that came up, I think, in maybe what round was it where we were up against a fair deck? I know we were up against combo almost all the whole time, but we did face depths. We faced some fair deck in round 1. Was it Eldrazi? Being able to push is pretty clutch. So I don't think we need 4, but I mean, we could move one of the Shieldred's Edicts to the board, but I just Shieldred's Edict is live in pretty much every matchup. If they're not playing creatures, they're probably playing planeswalkers. But at the same time, I can't justify paying 3 mana to remove a creature, especially when we don't even get the choice of the creature. We just get to choose the type. Yeah, I think Fatal Push number 3 could come in. Obsessive Pursuit could come in. We did change our curve slightly. We added a 2-drop and took out 2 1-drops. But the main thing is now we do have to risk that we're not going to have a good 1-drop, because one thing we've done is dramatically reduce the impact of Chalice against our deck, because we basically just have 12 1-drops, and this one's going to come out probably before Chalice matters. There were lots of situations where Dark Ritual wasn't a terrible top deck, and I think Obsessive Pursuit, at the very least, Dark Ritual replaces itself because you just crack a clue. I'd probably try this, but then the question is, do we just play yet another Shieldred's Edict? Do we play there are some of these other cards that people have been playing? Long Goodbye. I can't remember the one, but it's like a black mana, destroy target creature or planeswalker, and you have to discard a card or pay like an extra mana or something like that. I can't remember what it is. I was never really impressed with that card. Also, we never want to discard a card. Like it's just never beneficial for us to discard cards, like unless we just happen to have like a Obsessive Pursuit in hand and we wanted an extra type for our Goyfs. Yeah, I don't know what this card should be, but if the other option, of course, is we could, in case they go really wide, we could do something. I don't know. I mean, we could just, so again, like May was great. She was exceptional, but we really need cards to replace Thoughtseize. And the best way I've heard for deck construction advice when you're trying to figure out is like, what are you definitely taking out in certain matchups? Okay, you need to have, like, if you're definitely taking out 4 Thoughtseize against Delver, against really any tempo deck or any aggro deck, because this is not a good card against those decks. It's just a good card against combo and control to an extent. Like getting their Beanstalk is absolutely worth having it in. But if you're taking this out, then what are you bringing in? The other thing is there are other black creatures we could be playing, but there aren't other good black 1-drops. I'm not going to play like a 1-of Stalker. Like the deck just doesn't really support it that way. I'm not going to play a 1-of Moonshadow. I'm not convinced that Moonshadow is a good card outside of build around. If you build your entire deck around Moonshadow with like DRCs constantly putting stuff in your graveyard, then Moonshadow is absolutely a crack card. And you can watch my leagues with Moonshadow. But I wanted to take a breath and say, like, okay, what if we weren't going totally balls to the wall? What if we were taking a little slower approach, more steady? And I think this deck achieved that very well. So what I'm trying to say is we do need something to bring in. And if we're going to play the Fatal Push, then, we've got a lot of air. Like, and I can only play 4 Fatal Pushes, and I'm playing the full 4. It's just, I mean, we could bring in an Urza's Bauble. That's another thing we could do. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I guess, okay, so hear me out. There are situations where now Spellbomb, the best anti-graveyard card ever printed other than Lamb of the Void, where that could come in. Like, that's good against Delver. Like, is that good against all the matchups where you're taking out Thoughtseize? No, it's not good against Eldrazi. And Eldrazi is a real deck. Like, I went and played in paper against my friend Dayton Hendricks, and he just destroyed my Beans deck 3 games in a row. We played one for fun, and he destroyed me on that game too. That is a real deck. It is very powerful, and we want to respect it. And we don't have the option of putting Consign in. But I do think we need another removal spell, and I don't really want it to be Dismember. It absolutely could be Dismember. I don't like Snuff Out at all. Personally, like I've never liked that card, but it could be Snuff Out. But we're not trying to win fast. We're just trying to win stably. There are cases where we can race them, but so I'm not sure what to put. Let me figure out what that one black card is. Bitter Triumph. This is it. This card is pretty janky because it's 2 mana, but it's unconditional removal. But you have to do something. You have to pay life, which I don't like doing, or you have to discard a card. Like, this is good if you're playing like a Reanimator type deck. I don't know. Black's removal just leaves so much to be desired, but we can't all be Plow. Yeah, if only Grief weren't banned. Like, I would definitely throw Grief in as a 1-of, because that's pretty good against a lot of different things. And it's a way to deal with redundant obsessive. Like, Grief is just too annoying, and I can understand why they banned it, but like, it was so good. It was bad because it enabled combo, not because it enabled fair strategies. There was nothing wrong with Blue-Black Scam before it metastasized into, Blue-Black Reanimator. I will stand on that. And Troll did nothing wrong. Troll did nothing wrong. It's only like at least 2 or 3 cards banned for Entomb Sins. What are we doing here? I mean, I hate to say it, but I think my answer for now is just Shieldred's Edict number 2. But then that still doesn't answer. We need 4 cards. Okay, so hear me out. Against blue-red, I actually think Leyline is totally legit because it really like nerfs them, and we can always cast it later if we need to. It's not like our deck can't pay 4 mana for a Leyline of the Void. There are plenty of situations where that'll come up. So we could just take out the Thoughtseize and bring in Leylines. But against blue-black tempo, that's trickier because I don't think Leyline of the Void is good enough for there. Against Eldrazi, we still need cards. Like I could bring in May, but she's just not good enough against them. Disruptor Flute, maybe. Damping Sphere. Okay, so we're bringing in Damping Sphere. So we do just need 1 more card. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play 1 more Shoulder. Again, it's the least bad removal spell. Yeah, and this is how I'll have the 5.0 deck list that you just saw, and then I'll have this updated version because I genuinely think that we were really struggling with the fact that Cecil never did a damn thing, and we cast him several times. I think there was a game where we cast him like 3 or 4 times because of Karakas, and the deck just doesn't care about Karakas. I mean, like, sure, Karakas my Torok back to my hand, and I'll hit so I can him you again. That's not a big deal, but Cecil just being a stinky 1-drop that like does damage to ourselves is almost never going to flip. I think I've flipped him like 3 or 4 times in my entire career. I think he was just a trap, frankly. I've never really liked him, and I just wanted another 1-drop. There might be some other 1-drop that is worth playing in black, but I just can't think of it. Like a 1-drop that had flying, that had lifelink would be great. Like a flying creature would be fantastic, but unfortunately we are well past the days of, Vampire Nighthawk being legacy playable. Hypnotic Spectre. It's a great fan service card, but it's not good enough. Yeah, I think so. We do it this way, and then we just hope that our Dark Rituals are not too lumpy. A lot of those games, like even Dark Ritual him was fine. It was a 2-for-2, but it was messing them up way worse than it was messing us up. But yeah, like with the sheer like really 8 1-drops, we are going to get a lot of hands where Dark Ritual is just 2 mana cast something. But I guess on the draw, we had the option of Fatal Push. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a Shieldred's Edict and I'm going to bring in a Fatal Push. And that way, at least if we're Dark Ritualing, we can Fatal Push and do something because there's just too few 1-drops. Yeah, I think this is the list. So against Delver, we just bring in the Ley Lines for the Thoughtseize. Against Eldrazi, we bring in the Damping Spheres and the Shieldred's Edicts. Against blue-black tempo, we bring in 2 Shieldred's Edicts and probably just like 2 Leyline of the Void. Like, again, it's an odd number, and everybody wants to either be 4 in, 4 out, but I learned from Pokimoki, I learned from the guy who invented Espervale, or I can't remember his name, he's JTL or something, JTL005, that it is often correct to just bring in 1 Leyline of the Void, even though it feels weird. And that is one of the things that you're just going to have to live with as a Magic player. Like a lot of the things I do are counterintuitive, but they are based off of a lot of reasoning that is difficult to explain, or they're based off intuition that's been honed over, I don't know, at this point, I've got at least like 300 League videos up. So if you multiply it out, I've probably played like, I don't know, 3,000 games, or at least 2,000 games. Yeah, probably like 3,000 games, 3,000 matches on MTGO in the, 2.5 years that I've been on MTGO. It's actually only like 2 years. Okay. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, but I hope you're like appreciating, so I want to call out some feedback that people had on my Moonshadow decks. Like that Moonshadow, the black-red one which you should totally watch. It was a great league too. That one has just been blowing up. I think it's like my most popular video ever other than like a mono blue list. But hopefully this will be really popular too, because this is a budget deck. I'm going to tell you the exact cost of this deck. If you want to build this deck, none of these cards are expensive. I think Baragorf's the only expensive card, and the fetches. So what you do if you want to find out how much a deck costs, by the way, on Moxfield, which I'm not sponsored by Moxfield. If you're at Moxfield and you want to sponsor me, reach out to me. I'll happily accept. We'll negotiate. But I'm not a total pushover. But what I'm going to say here is you can just take your deck and then you just go to use cheapest, update to cheapest. And then what it's going to do is it's still going to look like a lot of money, but then I'm going to take all these beta swamps out. Boom. $500 exactly. Exactly $500 for the cheapest version. And, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Wait, is this the cheapest version? Yeah. I guess these are the cheapest. Dark Ritual. Yeah. You get the dude. Fatal Push. That is cool art. I just love how nonchalantly, like, see ya. Yeah. You get the whiteboard. Ugh. Throw up in my mouth. This was never intended to be a whiteboarder card. Obsessive Pursuit. And then, yeah, you just get the cheap versions of the fetches. You get this weird Wasteland. It's just like a movie poster style. And then, yeah. But my point is, it's exactly $500. May is not particularly expensive. She's very good. Turok is like less than $1. This is just an excellent deck. As you can see, like, there were a lot of meaningful decisions. This is not just, I'd argue, like, if you're used to playing mono black from like 1994, where you're just like Dark Ritual, Hippie Spectre, like, there was not nearly as much nuance and decision making back then. It really was kind of like an easy, fun, relaxed, drink some beers. I don't drink alcohol, by the way, but if you do, and then just like sit down with your buddies and take out your unsleeved mono black deck and jam. It used to be that kind of deck. It's not that anymore. You do have to think a lot. Now, is this Doomsday in terms of like the amount of thinking? Is this the Epic Storm? Is this Beanstalk control, or is Jeskai control, I think, even harder to pilot? Grixis control, probably the hardest to pilot. No, I don't think it's any of those decks. But it is not like just a deck for morons. Like, there's a lot of decision making that goes into sequencing, mulligans. So I'm not trying to defend this, but like, if you were to put this same deck in my hands a year ago, I would probably have gone 2-3 or maybe 3-2. Right? With the same exact matchups, the same luck, everything. Like, and that would actually be a really cool experiment if we could perform that. We can't. But yeah, like, I punted, I think, at least twice this league, and I was unpunished, thankfully. But I probably would have punted like 6 or 7 times and not even realized I was punting, if that makes sense. So $500 deck, go forth, build this deck. Just, if nothing else, build it and loan it to your friend that's interested in getting into Legacy. I think it's a great place to start. I also think the mono blue tempo with the Boomerang Basics and the Storm Chaser talent is a great place to start. That's also like a $500 or $600 deck, maybe $700 or $800, because you have to get Force Negations for that, and those are expensive. But like, this is an exceptional deck. I had an absolute blast playing it. I hope you enjoyed the insight into my thinking process as I continue to refine this. I hope you go forth and try out this Obsessive Pursuit card. It's so fun. It's such a fun card. And it's like, I recently discovered Prof's Eidetic Memory. This is the black Prof's Eidetic Memory. It's functionally almost identical. It's a little bit weaker because you don't get to just straight up draw the card, but you get a new card every turn. So maybe this is actually better than Prof's, but you also lose a life. So there's that. There was a situation, like in the final game, I think my life total started to drop below 20. And I was like, well, they could get me now because I was at 21 after the plow, but now Obsessive Pursuit has lowered me to 19. So I am vulnerable again. But like, man, this card is freaking nuts. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.